Good afternoon. Time for Game 4 of the Cricket Ireland Interprovincial T20 series. It's the T20 festival here at the beautiful Pembroke Cricket Club in South Dublin. 3 games so far and we've seen 3 very one-sided matches. Are we going to see the thriller that the tournament deserves? If you're just joining us for the first time this morning, the Northern Knights managed to turn it all around after a heavy defeat yesterday. They turned over the much-fancied home side, the Leinster Lightning. The 6-time champions of this tournament, they were beaten. This afternoon, it's the side that has Irish cricket abuzz, the Northwest Warriors. Their approach yesterday, nothing short of outstanding, has set tails wagging across Irish cricket. Dale McClintock just doing his final checks on the pitch. A little while ago, there was a whole host of people out there. They were all being marshalled by the great Alan Lewis for the toss. Let's see what happened.
Fourth of 6 games in the Cricket Ireland IP20. I'm joined here by match referee Kevin Gallagher, captain of Munster Tyrone Kane, and captain of the Northwest Warriors Andy McBride. Kevin, will you toss the coin please? And it'll be Andy to call.
Heads.
The head.
We'll have a bat.
Andy, you're going to have a bat. Maybe you'll come forward and tell us, that was pretty much the perfect performance yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday, the way we fought back in the first innings, especially with the ball as well, because they got off to a pretty good start with the bat, and we were absolutely happy getting into chasing 135 at half time. And obviously the way the lads come out and played the second innings, I thought as good a performance as I've seen us playing many a year.
Well, certainly that change of dynamic, that power hitting throughout your first 5, that's something to behold.
Yes, as me and Gary trying to install as much as possible into them is just go out and play freedom. Like if you think you can hit your first ball for 6, you hit it for 6. Because we bat deep and we've loved his confidence and through the squad this year, so obviously.
And your rationale for batting today?
What's that?
Your rationale for batting today?
Yeah, we think it's obviously, I still think it's going to be a pretty good surface, but we've got 4 spinners in the team, so we're hoping maybe an hour 20 overs wear might be on the spinners a wee bit more in the second innings.
And any changes for your team today?
Same team as yesterday.
Okay, perfect. Well done. Thank you, Andy. Tyrone, that result this morning must have sent a couple of happy pills through the Munster lineup.
Yeah, I think it's just good for the competition now if everybody's on one win, and hopefully if we get a win then today everybody's even going into tomorrow, so yeah, I think it's a good result for the competition. And
any areas you're looking to improve on from yesterday?
Maybe just a slight more bit intent in the power plays, both with the bat and with the ball. I think in T20 cricket it's a power play game, and if you can win both power plays you're going to be close enough to winning.
And any changes in your team
same
today?
Team again.
Okay, good luck boys. Just to let you know, from the toss, the news is the Northwest Warriors have won the toss and have elected to bat.
What a glorious scene it is this afternoon. Saturday the 19th of June, day 2 of the festival. And it's game 4. Alan Lewis looking resplendent in the sunshine out there. He's made the quick trip back to the commentary position. Going to be me, Andrew Leonard, with Alan Lewis for much of the afternoon. So stay tuned with us wherever you're joining us from all the way around the world. Some quite phenomenal numbers on the opening games, Alan. Seems like the interest in Irish cricket just continues to grow and grow.
Yeah, it's been fantastic, and I think the real reason for it has been the push to 4 teams. It's created a real level of excitement. It's giving us an opportunity to see new players. And again, nothing exemplified that more than yesterday with the Northwest Warriors, with a changed energy, changed dynamic to their team, and the power hitting and the freedom with which they played was a joy to watch. And it'll be interesting to see, will they replicate that today? It was interesting to see. Obviously, Andrew McBride won the toss and elected bat. They think with 4 spinners, they might get a bit of purchase in the second innings.
And doesn't that speak volumes, Alan? This new dynamic, attacking, modern approach to T20 cricket that the Warriors are taking into this season. They're saying we don't want to bowl first. We don't want to restrict Munster and chase it down in no time. We want to go out and make another massive statement. They had a huge statement yesterday. They obliterated the Northern Knights, chasing down that total in 11, just over 11 overs. Now, the big question for me today, can they replicate it? The weaker of the 2 suits for Munster, there's no doubt, is their bowling. So can they go out and smash a huge total here and back up the statement on day 2 of the festival?
Well, look, the other side of this, Andrew, is the Munster Reds will be really excited about that result this morning. This is an opportunity for them to bite back. As you say, their suite really hasn't been in the bowling and the fielding department, but as we saw also today, we saw a Leinster Lightning team who were limp. And we don't use that word lightly. We say it as it is in this commentary box. That's what we've got to do.
They were limp today, the Lightning, weren't they?
Very much so. Very, very much so. And again, no different to what the Northwest Warriors did yesterday. Munster Reds opening with spin with Matt Ford from the St John's Road end. Our umpires today, again, Rowley Black and Alan Neal.
Yeah, just keep an eye on this action. If you haven't seen it before, it's an interesting one. He's going to come around the wicket with his off spin, but they're real darts, aren't they? Just darts them in flat, and I think one of the main reasons they've decided to open with the off spinner, William Porterfield, the left-hander on strike. All set for game 4 in the series. The Reds to bowl, the Warriors to bat. Here we go.
And on the money straight away, Matt Ford, as you say, darting that ball in, attacking the stumps. The wise option.
Such a funny action, so chest on, isn't it, Alan? Porterfield looks for the sweep shot, can't get it away, can't beat Fionn. And correction, Aaron Coley yet. Fine leg. Pretty regulation field for this stage of the game, but long off rather than long on, perhaps the only difference to usual. Another man in the deep square leg.
That could be a chance. It's out to deep square and he's gone. William Porterfield is gone. He half hit that really, Andrew Leonard. And it's been caught really well in the deep. And that has the Munster Reds dancing.
What a start. They're looking to turn it around just the way the Northern Knights did. Like you said, he almost half hit it. I think if he'd fully committed to that shot, it would have soared all the way for 6. But he was probably just looking to chip it out for 1 to get off the mark. That's the difficulty as an opening batsman. William Porterfield has gone for a duck, a third ball duck. Caught in the deep. A comfortable catch held by Mike Frost. What a start for the Munster Reds.
Great start for the Munster Reds, and that will give them a real bounce. I think William Porterfield was probably a little bit in two minds there, Andrew, whether to just, that previous ball that he hit to Fionn Hand, he kind of just helped it on its way as opposed to really getting tucked into a slog sweep. But it's brought Nathan Maguire, the exciting Nathan Maguire, to the wicket. And of course they've crossed, so Stephen Doheney is on strike, who was equally good yesterday. Fantastic strike rate, but different day. You've got to start again, Andrew. And they're 1 down without a run on the board.
And Alan, it's time for the acid test. Will the Northwest Warriors keep going under duress? It's easy to keep going when you're right on top of the game, but will they go right from the off even after the early wicket now? That's what they're claiming they're going to do. We'll see if the proof is in the pudding now. Will Stephen Doheney and Nathan Maguire continue to take a really adventurous, aggressive approach? He's going to stay around the wicket. Same angle, different to the right-hander. He's good off his own bowling as well, Ford. But they will get through for the first runs of the day. Doheney off the mark.
Absolutely, just steered down to long on, had to beat the infield. Looks like Josh Manley there. Possibly a dive might have helped his team with Matt Ford coming across. Possibly he was distracted. And Matt Ford pushing long on that little bit wider.
Full just punched mid-off, but with real power. And I just hope Tyrone Kane has not done himself a nuisance here. I hope it is not what it looks like. You can see Stephen Doheney immediately looks concerned. His two Munster teammates look concerned. Has he rolled his ankle there? Immediately he's trying to take the boot off. Alan, this doesn't look like good news for the Munster Reds or for Tyrone Kane. Just catching the very end of it on our replay there.
One just doesn't know what it is, but he looks to be holding his right ankle. And he looks in real distress.
I've just watched it back, Alan, on the replay. His right ankle has jarred in the turf and it's twisted. We can only hope that it might just be a bruise or or maybe a sprain. Mark Rouse immediately out. Never like to see a player injured. And Tyrone Kane, who's been such a dynamic leader for the Reds, is in real trouble here, Alan.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for the Reds. Obviously, captain of the ship, psychologically, having had such a good start, looked to be kind of gathering the ball quite cleanly. It just hopped a wee bit at the last minute. But, it'll be interesting just to see on replay here. Oh, yes. His foot kind of sticking in the turf, and he's just kind of gone over it a bit, as you say, whether it's a sprain or whether it's a ligament. Obviously, he's in the best of hands out there, Mark Rouse, the Irish physiotherapist.
Yeah, you're spot on. He couldn't be in better hands. The head of physiotherapy services for Cricket Ireland, Mark Rouse, comes to all the interprovincial games. So we're, of course, across with the national side there in Amsterdam, and you can see Rouse indicating to the Munster Reds bench that certainly for the moment Tyrone Kane will not be able to continue, and you'd have to worry that might be ruling him out not just of today but maybe tomorrow as well. Tyrone Kane is a tough man, and he looks in a lot of distress there, Alan. That's not nice to see at all.
No, and particularly when Mark Rouse is calling for a replacement, and it's never nice to see that. Any sport that we play, you don't commonly see a huge number of injuries. It's funny, actually, in many cases in a lot of these multi-sport stadiums, you see a lot of players go down on knees and jar their knees. I think of Jones, remember, for England, that famous game. I think it was in the Gabba where he wrecked himself diving, but at least he's up and walking. So look, who knows, if he gets a wee bit of ice on it, it might just necessarily be a sprain. Get a little bit of time.
Yeah, good to see he's up and walking on it. I think with ankles, that's what they always say, you're actually better putting pressure onto it, allowing the ankle and the foot to adjust. Big concern for Ted Williamson, the big man there, the Munster Reds head coach. And the reason for that concern, any one of his players would bring concern, but the all-round assets that Tyrone Kane brings to the team, the power hitting, the dynamic fielding and the fast bowling, he's going to miss all three of those suits for the moment. Such misfortune for the Reds. That's now Gareth Delaney, Curtis Camphor, and let's hope Tyrone Kane, it's only a minor injury, but that's three of their key men, all-rounders, all with injury problems so far this season.
Yes, when you think about it, those three players effectively going to the Munster Reds, and you know, with the three of them, it looked a very compact unit, and now all three gone. And it's a big blow for the Munster Reds, that, because again, you and I were down in the Mardyke on Tuesday. Tyrone Kane laid an assault.
Yeah, phenomenal power hitting. Just wonder, may he be able to bat? Obviously, we'll wait to update you when we hear more from Mark Rouse and Darren Nicholl, the other physio here on hand. There is a sub-fielder come on for the Munster Reds. We'll try and get you a check on who that is. Much quicker, much flatter, and it's going to be the first boundary. Nathan Maguire really just steering that behind square on the offside. So it quite literally all happened in that first over. 5 runs, a wicket, and an injury to Tyrone Kane.
Absolutely, probably, again, he's just fired that in, Matt, forward, a little bit like a medium pacer, really, and Maguire, thickish of outside edges, whether he just steered that a little bit, it was wide, he could have, and he's away. But a good start for Munster at this juncture. And it's going to be Aaron Cawley to bowl the second over from the Wilfield Road end on what is a beautiful day here in Pembroke Cricket Club.
Can you imagine there was no restrictions, though, in terms of only 100 people allowed in today? It's an all-ticketed affair, so an awful lot of that crowd will have come to support the Leinster Lightning, the home side who've lost this morning. Some of them might have drifted away back to club cricket now this afternoon, but can you imagine? No restrictions, that wall would be packed.
Well, of course, we've had the full complement of club cricket today. You've got to squeeze everything into a truncated summer.
Cawley just back of a length. Dohney impressive yesterday. The change in formats worked the oracle for him after what was a A really difficult 50-over campaign for Doheny. Just wondered, did it play in his mind the fact he felt every innings was almost a trial for that Ireland opener's role? It just didn't quite happen for him.
Yeah, he's a very talented player, Stephen, and it's more the fashion which you get. There was a lot of 20s in there, and you know, within that mix of those 20s, there was some sumptuous shots. Beautiful stroke player, plays really well off the back foot, and then sometimes for no reason, you and I would be looking at one of them going, what happened?
Gives himself room outside the leg stump. That's something you were talking about in the first game we were watching today, how perhaps the Leinster Lightning batsmen not adjusting as well, not giving themselves that bit of room to try and create something.
Well, Simi Singh talked earlier after the game. I had a quiet word with him, and it's funny. You know, as a batsman, first over, you get a boundary away, you get moving. At no stage, Kevin O'Brien was 4 off 8, Simi Singh. Struggle, that's good bowling from Aaron Cawley. Nice and tight, back of a length.
Yeah, what Kevin O'Brien was saying was that he just felt that the Knights bowled really, really well and tight lines. They didn't give any freedom for either Singh or himself to work with. And O'Brien was obviously caught trying to give himself that bit of room, and he was talking afterwards about how he felt he probably should have tried to take the aerial route. He didn't. Ended up being a really good catch at backward point from the man of the match, Ross Adair. But Cawley started well here. And immediately Doheny trying to create and improvise and do something. Looks like the Reds are up for the fight today.
They certainly are. And it's amazing how you get these swinging fortunes in T20 cricket. And you think of most of the tournaments around the world. I think I remember probably you being the stat man that you were, a year that the Mumbai Indians won IPL, where they lost their first 5 games, I think. Before qualifying in 4th, they built momentum and ended up winning the competition. So anything can happen in this format of the game. That's why sometimes it's so difficult.
Bowled him. Munster Reds are off to a flyer. Nathan Maguire set the pulses racing yesterday. That wasn't short enough to pull, I don't think. And he's ended up being castled by Aaron Cawley, who started really impressively. You can see Maguire looking back at the pitch, but he's been beaten all ends up. The leg stump has taken a walk.
Yeah, it wasn't there to be pulled at all. I don't know why he's looking around or what he's kind of concerned about, but it was kind of a nothing shot. He never really got back, but it wasn't short enough to pull, Andrew. There's no doubt about that. And the Warriors in real trouble now. 6 for 2. As you say, different situation now. And there's going to have to be a little bit of rebuilding done here, although we have been told that they're not going to change the momentum of what they're going to try and do. And here's a man who's been in cracking form. I've been really impressed with his batting, not just in this series, because obviously we only saw him yesterday, but right through the IP20 series as well.
Yeah, Shane Getgate to the crease at number 4. Said it was the acid test when there was 1 wicket down, 2 wickets down in the first 2 overs. It's the real acid test now of this new approach for the Warriors. Are they going to keep going? Shane Getgate generally is known to only play in one way, and that's a very aggressive, dynamic, power-hitting approach. Hitting his first ball for 6 yesterday, Alan. In an innings that really thrilled, the entire innings thrilled, in fact.
He was in great form yesterday, struck so powerfully down the ground. That's his big area of strength. And again, Aaron Cawley will want to just hone in on that top of off stump, not be too full. It's been a very good over so far.
Powerfully driven. Murray Cummins doing the work at mid-off. Good stuff, this good tight start from Aaron Cawley. 2 overs gone. Just 2 runs from that second over. The score 7 for 2.
Yeah, great start by Munster. Really, really encouraging start by them. And it looks as if there's going to be another change. Common thread, common theme. Sometimes I don't quite understand it, but it looks as if we're going to have Josh Manley from the St John's Road end. And
you do see that tactic used quite a lot in T20 cricket though, Alan. The spinner coming on to bowl just 1 over at the start, trying to essentially capitalise on the fact that whoever the openers are, they aren't necessarily going to go from the very first delivery. And they've picked up the bonus wicket with Ford getting the scalp of Porterfield, going back to who their usual regular opener would be in the shape of Josh Manley.
Well, it's a funny one. I remember back years ago when Davy Houghton was our coach for the Kenya World Cup 1994, and his adage was if he can get any bowler out at that time in terms of 50 over cricket, 10 overs for 30, he couldn't care less if all 10 of them were up front. It was something Garfield Harrison actually used to do. Has been as part of this commentary team, as you probably know, for a number of these fixtures.
Manley just falling over after delivering that one, full-hearted if nothing else. He does get a nice shape with the new ball, doesn't he? Almost always away from the right-hander, a little bit of a slingy action.
Yeah, slingy action. It was funny. I've been impressed with him through the IP20 series. Probably didn't have one of his better days down in the Mardike last Tuesday, but he bowls a consistent line and length. South African born.
Yeah, one of several cricketers coming in from overseas for this year's IP50. Big appeal. Munster are convinced, but the umpire Alan Neil is unmoved.
I'd say that was very, very close, Andrew. Alan Neil was in a good position, but again, I just wonder, these direct hits, so often they're Yeah, I think you might be right. Wasn't the most powerful of throws, but a direct hit always excites, Andrew.
Always does. I think it's Michael Frost there at backward point, picked up left-handed. Always get your left-hander at backward point. Hit towards mid-off and taken. He's almost done himself another nuisance. I think Murray Cummins it is that's hung on. The Northwest Warriors are going to continue playing the way that they want to play, but it's costing them right now. They're 7 for 3 in the third over. The Munster Reds are ablaze. Look at them, on fire, Alan.
Munster are cock-a-hoop, and I didn't know whether Murray Cummins had done himself an injury there doing the splits. It looked a bit more like the dance floor at some stage there for Murray Cummins, but he's held on. And the Munster Reds are on fire.
What a turn-up for the Bucks we had this morning. Are we going to have another massive turn-up? Everyone's talked about the Northwest Warriors being the favourites for this tournament after their performance yesterday. They're right up against it. Remember, they won the toss. They decided to have a bat first. And Gary Wilson is unmoved on the sideline. He doesn't say, Andy McBride, go in and rescue this sinking ship. He says, let's go again. Let's send another power hitter in. Big William McClintock comes in at number 5. And I am delighted to see that. Don't change your approach because of the results. You're back into thinking, can William McClintock deliver?
Well, you're thinking back to that 196 last weekend for Donnamana, when he might have come in much the same situation, because it was I think he faced 110 balls coming in at number 5. But 196 for William McClintock. That was a little bit quicker, that, from Josh Manley. Flew through to wicketkeeper PJ Moore, and they are cock-a-hoop, Andrew, and rightly so.
Yeah, for our viewers today who don't know the innings that Alan is referring to, we've spoken about it on both Tuesday and then yesterday. It was Donnamana against Coleraine in the first 40-over aside game of the season up in the Northwest Cricket Union. He made 195 coming to the crease when Donnamana were in all sorts of trouble at 18 for 3. He's going to get off the mark here. With what's really an inside edge, should be plenty of time for him to get back for 2. The outfield's still very quick. You ever heard anything like it, Alan? 195 off 101 balls with 21 sixes.
Touch of the Decker Curries, that. Although I do understand the game was in Donnamana. Because if they were playing in Coleraine, you'd think it was even more unbelievably unbelievable. But you've got to keep hitting. And to get 196 in any game of cricket is an achievement. And he's a very, very good player, William McClintock. and he's back enthused. As you say, it's going to be really interesting now, the approach of the Warriors. 9 for 3 off 3.
Yeah, sorry, Alan, just want to clarify one thing as well. That the subfielder that's on for Tyrone Kane, just trying to bring that to you. The Reds unchanged from yesterday. Playing the same side. So Seamus Lynch in the team. Just trying to find out who it is. I thought I had it spied at one point, Alan. I think it's Theo Dempsey who's come on as the subfielder. So he's in his 12th man. He'll field the rest of this innings.
Theo Dempsey, of course, from Phoenix Cricket Club.
Really good controlled start this from Aaron Cawley. You can almost tell before the ball is delivered purely from his approach whether it's going to be in the sort of right area or not. And there you could see him completing his action beautifully, getting all his body weight going towards the target, towards the top of off. There's something about Aaron Cawley, isn't there?
There is. He's got a very good wrist action. He's got that snap in his action which gives him that little bit of surprise to the batters, but he's bowled a lovely tight line just back of a length. No need to veer off that. And again he's on it. And it's really impressive stuff, this, from the Munster Reds. And again, it's to a certain extent, like when you think, actually, and I'm just thinking about it, Gareth Delaney, Curtis Camphor, now Tyrone Kane, you know, in a sense, the big three that went down to Munster without them, but they're on a blaze. And one of the things, it was quite funny, Graham McCarthy yesterday, kind of very indifferent, not normally himself, but I haven't played a lot of cricket, he said.
Down the track again, Doheny trying to force the pace, but Cawley has stayed incredibly consistent. That's Theo Dempsey down there on his 12th man. If you're just joining us, Tyrone Kane has done himself what looks like a very nasty ankle injury. We're just hoping it might be a bruising or a sprain as opposed to anything more serious. I saw Darren Nicholl, one of the Cricket Ireland physio team, bringing some ice over, Alan, so we can only hope that it might be a little worse than it could have looked at first.
Absolutely. Let's hope for everyone that that's the case. And the Irish physio is passing us now. We might get a little idea. He's a bit iffy about it. He's not too sure. But hopefully...
What a shot from William McClintock. It's not just the power that he accesses on the leg side. We saw that innings, the 50-over innings up at Stormont. Some of those shots through the offside. He hasn't even hit this, Alan, and it's raced like a tracer bullet to the boundary.
Well, look just how steady he is at the crease, Andrew. Gets the left leg out of the way, gives himself that freedom to get the arms through the ball, gets into a great position, and that's flown to the boundary. High quality from William McClintock.
Hits the ball so cleanly. Hard to describe unless you're here in person. You can often tell from the noise of that Nathan Maguire 6 yesterday. The noise of some of Stephen Doheny's shots yesterday. And McClintock hits it as clean as anyone in Irish cricket.
Well, what I like about him is it's how steady he is at the point of delivery, head still, everything is in a straight line. And he's very organised. And he plays very strong shots, but he's outrageously powerful. Exactly the type of components we understand that is needed in T20 cricket.
How broad are his shoulders, Alan?
Massive.
He is a big man, isn't he?
Well, of course, I would have known McClintock's back in the day when I played boxers. They were at the time. Thomas, I think. I'll have to get corrected, but maybe someone could get onto us on social media and remind me.
Doheny again trying to give himself room outside the leg stump, but Manley really cleverly following him, and not just following him, getting it right up towards the shoulder of the bat. Good bowling from Manley. Doheny gets off strike. Yeah, McClintock, part of the Donnamana Club in County Tyrone. Beautiful place. And one of the Bison has started to create up with this side is a serious culture, and he wants McClintock as a part of that in all the formats for the Warriors.
Look at that, loads of time. Transitions forward or back very quickly, William McClintock, and I just love that non-complicated stillness at the crease. Knows what he's doing, won't get ruffled. Certainly hasn't so far.
Or the Donnamana Club, of course, the home of Andy McBride as well. 2000. Down the track this time. Manly, as you say, getting the ball through a bit, but they are prolific in the Northwest, aren't they? Leagues, cups, Ulster Cups. They've kind of won it all, haven't they?
They've done it all. Very tenacious side. YMCA last year were lucky to get over the line against them. One stage, this man was taking the game away until Curtis Kempfer, an unbelievable keeper catch, brought the end of it for Donnamana.
That is monstrous. Over the clubhouse, over the wall, and there's a smash, a crash and a bang down in the gardens. I'm not sure where that one's gone, but it's broken something, Alan. William McClintock has gone huge.
Absolutely enormous, and in tennis terms it's new balls please, because this has gone a long way, and that would have been 6 in any ground. Helped on its way, used the pace of the ball. William McClintock, brilliant piece of batting by him.
That's what happens with an away swing bowler when they don't get the shape. That one just angling in to the hitting arc of William McClintock. We spoke about Nathan Maguire setting pulses racing yesterday. This man, McClintock, 195 for his club last weekend. I think one of the innings of the season in the IP20 as the Warriors bested the Knights up at Stormont in a game that we brought you on the live stream. He's got all the talent and potential in the world. Goes through the offside this time. Look at the power he possesses, and look at the time he has at the crease. 4 more.
That's exactly what I said to you, and this is brilliant batting by William McClintock. The time he has at the crease. And it's quite interesting. There's a very interesting observer at the far end of the ground. It's the Irish national coach, and I'm sure he's going to be very interested. If this innings gets more prolonged, the name William McClintock mightn't be too far away. And the type of things that we're talking about, Andrew, this discipline of T20 cricket, outstanding stuff so far.
Fielders running everywhere. A little bit of panic for the first time in this Munster Reds innings. Deep square leg's going to come back. Fine leg's going to come up in the circle. Third man thought he was coming up, but now he's going back. So third man and deep square leg out. McClintock's looked for the pull shot. That's quicker.
Yeah, probably didn't need to. He got himself a front foot pull there. Maybe just getting that little bit over exuberant, but it's the way the Warriors are playing. It's the way they want to play. And he's saying, I should have hit that in the green. Give her a drink, I think, is the big phrase up there in Donnamana. I don't know whether you remember that line. Give her a drink.
I think I've been hit into the drink up there in Donnamana. And the reason for that is there's a river, beautiful river running right next to the ground, and so often balls get dispatched into that river. I've no doubt that 195 McClintock made, there was several.
Most of the time, any of the drinking I was doing was with Ivor Doherty and Alfie Dunn. Most of that was done after the game. Always enjoyed being in their company. Great fun. Some great stories. Real characters of the game. I hope they're watching on today. And if they are, all our best wishes.
Fionn Hand into the attack from the Wilfield Road end. Doherty just playing an anchor holding role. Spectating, really. I think all he's going to try to do for the moment while McClintock's going like this is maybe get him back on strike.
Well, I don't sense that's the way they're going to do it. I think they're going to continue doing what they're doing. He's just, there is a sense of a little bit of rebuild. You've got to get a partnership going again in some shape or form. And a game, as you say, can change in the blink of an eye. As
Smashed
we
down
said,
the ground, right over the head of me and you and Heatley Tector. It's gone onto the rooftop. What a shot. Alan Lewis held his shape down the track. Fionn Hand gets a little predictable sometimes with that length. Doherty predicted it down the track to the pitch of the ball. Full flourish of the bat. Great batting.
This is brilliant. Look at the room he gives himself and the extension at the end. That is a high-class shot. Brilliant shot. I don't know who. Oh, it's the great Heatley Tector diving for cover. It's all happening out here.
And the ball's on the roof, Alan. Might not be getting that one back for a little bit. Might have one of the Pembroke club members or volunteers go up and get that. But a great shot captured there.
Well spotted by Hugh Ronaldson, that. Save Cricket Ireland. Another €70. Those kookaburras are expensive.
Yeah, Kevin Gallagher, the match referee, has been out with the new balls. New one's been selected. Pressure on Fionn Hand, not for the first time this weekend. Brilliant. He's come back. He came back yesterday with an outstanding catch after being hit for 22 in 5 deliveries. He's demolished the stumps of Donny after Donny stuck him on the roof. It's not how you start, it's how you come back, it's how you finish. That's what Fionn says.
And again, he's given him that. Actually had that little bit of shape on it, but it was a bit nothing really from Stephen Donny in the end. Nearly gave himself too much room because he wasn't advancing to the ball. He stood his ground. Maybe he was expecting something shorter, but that held its shape from Fionn Hand. And both stumps out of the ground. No better sight for a quick bowler. And it's bringing Andrew McBride. I bet you he didn't think at whatever time we are, 4:30 today, he'd be making his way to the wicket. But he is, because the Northwest Warriors are 4 down for 31.
They're in deep, deep trouble. 2 Donnamana men at the crease are going to have to play a blinder of an innings to get their side back into it, the Northwest Warriors. Another thing I love to see, Fionn Hand, the celebrations. I don't see enough of that. Have a bit of joy, celebrate when you have a moment of brilliance. The one-handed catch yesterday, threw it into the air. There's a bit of anger in that because he'd just been pumped for 22 by Simi Singh, but I love to see that exuberance. He has got a massive heart, Fionn Hand, gives it nothing but 100% all the time.
Well, if there's anyone who provides that type of celebration and joy when playing their cricket, it's the man beside me. Once I do recall him taking the shirt off.
Thuds into the thigh pad of Andrew McBride. I'd like to just confirm that's a complete exaggeration from my old friend Alan Lewis.
Not really. I remember I got a little nibble on one down on the Y. You had the shirt off. You were giving it the Freddie Flintoff. Around the ground, there was another final you were in. You came back for 2. I think you were last seen in the Dodder, having won the Senior 2 League with Pembroke, with your old mate Billy Whaley.
Correct.
I've never laughed so much, but it brings great joy.
Good from Fionn Hand, this. Again, his natural shape, just like Cawley, is going to tend to be into the right-handers or away to the left-handers. But what he's done perfectly well there, the first 2 deliveries to McBride, he's tucked him up, given him no width to work with.
Well, it's something when Fionn Hand played with YM for a season, and it was something that I used to say, well, what is your stock delivery? And I don't think, he really in his own mind had one, because he was always trying everything. But I suppose when you look at it, Cawley, if he can hold it together, and I'm sure it's something that Stuart Barnes is going to be looking at, that natural ability to bring the ball into Andrew McBride and away from William McClintock. This is a home from home, of course. Both Donnamana man at the wicket. Played together for a long time. Probably grew up together, the pair of them.
End of the power play, Alan. 31 for 4. Giving you that stat several times. If you lose 3 wickets in the power play, you lose about 90% of your limited over internationals. They've lost, or limited over matches, this is interprovincial, of course. They've lost 4 wickets. Going to have to do some more badgering on the stats, but if it's 90% for 3 down, I reckon it's probably 92, 95% for 4 down. The Northwest Warriors have it all to do.
Absolutely. Have everything to do. Looks now as if Michael Frost is coming into the attack, which is perhaps a good move. Just take a wee bit of pace off it. Force William McClintock to hit, and that's a good start on the money straight away.
I was impressed with Michael Frost yesterday. One of several young spinners starting to make their way in the Irish game. Left armour from Malahide. Look at the power that McClintock hits the ball with. That wasn't even that short. That is clubbed into the leg side. Fast hands, strong wrists, and real power. Brilliant batting from McClintock.
Great batting from McClintock. Great to watch. He's just kind of clubbed that. Now, it was a very short delivery, but it actually stayed a little bit low on him. But he's got it away into the gap, and it sped to the boundary.
There'll be more runs here and real work to do for Ford, who cuts it off brilliantly. McClintock showing he's got good fitness to match the power. I think maybe just
off the bat there.
Yeah.
No signal from Alan Neal.
Nicely flighted. That's brave from Frost. What do you think of his field here, Alan? Long off, long on. Only 4 fielders on the leg side, though.
Yeah, it's, a lot depends, of course, Andrew, on the line that you bowl.
That's a risky line to be bowling to the slightly shorter side of the ground with only 4 men on the leg side.
Yeah, but, you've still got 3 deep. I wouldn't be uncomfortable with this field myself. Andrew, you want to maybe just cut that area off, two behind square on the offside.
That's why it's risky. Really good stuff from Fionn Hand. You love to see that immediately. His instinct to go for the catch. When he couldn't get there for the catch, he puts his body on the line and he saves 3 runs.
Absolutely. His first instinct was to go for the catch, and that was superb to see. He raced in and then realised no, and just got the hands out in front, just let it hit anywhere in the body. And it's the one thing in a bubbly outfield like this. Earlier on, the Leinster Lightning really struggled in the field because they weren't committed. Northern Knights very committed, ball maybe hitting an arm. There's a bumpy side of the field for the viewers who won't really know this ground, and they did ever so well.
Second game of 2 today, Alan, the 4th of 6 this weekend here at Pembroke. That Lightning result, a big shock this morning. What do you put it down to?
Maybe a little bit of overconfidence, possibly.
Was there some complacency?
A little bit, I think. I think I just saw them warming up. I didn't see a huge amount of urgency in some of the things that they were doing. Watched Munster warm up today when I was out for the toss, and there was a real buzz and energy about them.
Lovely shot again by McClintock into the offside. Can't pierce the infield.
I think there's some interesting things I'd like to talk to you about. Maybe me asking you the question. Strange, JJ Garth playing, not bowling. You just wonder that whole balance of the Lightning team. Do you think it's right?
If you're going to pick a leg spinner, you have to bowl him. You can't bowl him 1 over. And I think he bowled 4 deliveries for 2 or maybe 3 runs on the first day. And the last 2 balls went for 4 and 6. And he was taken off. He hasn't bowled since. What does that do to a young leg spinner and his confidence?
Well, that's my question to you.
Just down the leg side, and a bit of a shocker from Theo Dempsey through his legs. It's not going to cost his side any more runs because there was no pace thanks to the flying hand of PJ Moore behind the stumps. Fionn Hand's wrist just getting a bit behind the ball, 2 wides to the total.
I think the other side of things is in looking at the Leinster Lightning outfit, and again how important the fielding component is. I just wonder about the athleticism, agility of some of the team, but they were just a little bit apathetic today. They just weren't at the races, and again, it was something we saw with the Knights the day before too.
It's a nice drive from McBrien, and absolutely brilliant from Jack Carty, not just to get his hand in it, but to get his head out of the way, because that is lifted. A little bit like the one we saw for George Dockrell in the same position. Just occasionally when you come off the cricket outfield onto the rugby outfield here at Pembroke, you do get a few that bolt up, that really set up. That could have been dangerous. Good work from Carty.
That was nasty, Lenny. He did really well there.
McBrien's finally going to get off the mark from his 5th delivery. He's looked good in his new role up the order for the Warriors, of course batting at 3 in the 50 over format, but he's probably just the man you want coming in here at 6 to try and help salvage the innings.
Well, I reckon Andrew, in previous seasons, I just felt he hid down at 5 and 6. He's one of their best players, and it's interesting to see that Gary Wilson, he was telling me, was really encouraging of getting up that order, showing that responsibility, batting at 3, because he's a very good player, and he's quite rightfully in that position in 50 over cricket. Obviously with what's ahead of him in this format.
Edged and taken, what a catch. He didn't get it on the first grab, PJ Moore. He just stuck out a right hand, he parried it down, and the 2 hands managed to scoop it up. That's a massive moment. McClintock was looking so good. He goes for 23. Fionn Hand, he's at it again. You can't keep him out of the game.
Certainly can't. Great catch in the end by PJ Moore, because it flew. A real pick outside edge, but at the second grab, PJ Moore has taken it, and the Warriors in real trouble now here, Andrew. 41 for 5 at the conclusion nearly of the 8th over. It's been an extraordinary series so far.
Hasn't it just? Don't think you would have wanted or been able to predict these two results given what happened yesterday. Look at this batting card. William Porterfield gone for a duck, Maguire gone for 4, Getgate just for 1. They are living by the sword, but right now they are dying by the sword, the Northwest Warriors. And Graham Kennedy, probably their last really recognised out-and-out batsman. But one incredibly noticeable thing for me in this interprovincial series, you talk about the infectious nature of youth and positivity and joy into sides. Fionn Hand, Ross Adair, Mike Frost, these young guys coming into the game. They want to give their all. They want to upset the apple cart. They want to get the Andy Balbernis out. They want to get the George Dockrells, the Kevin O'Briens out, the William Porterfields out. And right now, they're doing it. They're putting things right in the mixer.
No doubt about it. Andrew Leonard, Munster are cock-a-hoop. And it's really added flavour to this whole competition, this spreading out of players. And it was interesting reading an article about New Zealand many years ago at board level. They did much the same thing, and we see where they are now, and this can only evolve, Andrew.
Yeah, we've said it a few times, particularly in reference to the earlier game. What a difference a day makes. What a difference a day has made for the Munster Reds.
You could sing that song, Andrew.
Look at the late shape again there from Fionn Hand. A little bit similar, this time away from the left-hander. So looking for the away swinger. It was the away swinger to the right-hander that ended up cleaning up Stephen Doheney. Just something about him, that man, Fionn Hand. Keep your eyes on him as well. 2 wickets for him to go with that catch that's gone viral all around the world from yesterday. That was a stunning grab, Alan, wasn't it?
Unbelievable grab. And what some people won't know is prior to that delivery, he'd gone for 22 from the previous 5 deliveries. That was the last ball of the over. And to turn and take that right-handed through his delivery strike is unbelievable.
There's a great tweet as well from Ger Siggins about it. I'm not going to get it exactly right, but it was something along the lines of never say die. Fionn Hand has just been hit for 4, 4, 4, 4, 6. Bowls the last ball of the over. What a catch. And that's what Fionn Hand's all about. Wholehearted cricketer. His mother Brenda was saying to me there earlier, obviously she works with Cricket Ireland, saying to me, it's not how you start in life, it's how you finish.
It certainly is. And you've just got to keep going, and it's moments like that that inspire. And he's come back today. He's 2 for 9, and we've got another change. Matt Ford coming back.
Big appeal, probably just going on with the arm down the leg side, not a huge amount of turn. Graham Kennedy in at number 7. The reason they've taken off the left arm spin.
2 left-handers, Lenny.
Oh, Michael Frost, as Alan just tells you before I get the chance to. He's the 2 left-handers in, so the off spinner taking it away. Graham Kennedy's a young man that's got a lot of people talking in Irish cricket as well, Alan.
Yeah, I've liked what I've seen from him this season. Of course, he's turned himself into an orthodox left-arm spinner. And again, I think it's one of these things, his bowling has aided his batting. He's batted very well also.
Inside edge saves, Andy McBride. Clearly 2 noises there. I think it thudded into the top of his back pad. Matt Ford is causing problems here. This unorthodox action of his. The left-handers are finding it hard to pick up.
Well, he's on you that little bit quicker. And he's bowling a lovely tight line. As you can see, Andrew, no one's saving one on the leg side. That's where Andrew McBride is looking to squirt it, but it's good tactics from Matt Ford.
Yeah, Andy McBride just really struggling to get going. Difficult when you've got wickets falling all around you, but just 2 from 8 deliveries. What can the Warriors do here? Can they somehow rustle away up to 120, 130, stay in the game?
Well, I think even at 120, 130 with their attack, they could stay in the game. But if they don't get it up anywhere near that, they won't be in the game. Because Munster's batting lineup, obviously we don't know at this stage whether it will be without Tyrone Kane, who's been in fantastic form with the bat.
Yeah, Tyrone Kane continues to be off the field due to that ankle injury in just the second over of the match, or the first over of the match, in fact. Theo Dempsey from Phoenix on as the 12th man, the subfielder, as over is called on the 9th over. It's 44 for 5. That over called by Alan Neal, who's joined by Roland Black, commonly known as Rolly Black around the circuit. The two scorers today, they're the two umpires. The two scorers, Andrew Mooney and Angela Mooney. It's a family affair in Irish cricket, isn't it? Kevin Gallagher, the match referee.
What I'm wondering, Andrew, is who's taken over as the skipper of the Munster Reds? Have we any idea who the VC is?
It's a very good question, Alan. Not too often I'm stumped, but it looks to me to be a little bit of a team effort. You've got some good experienced cricketers out there. I wonder, is PJ Moore perhaps marshalling things a little from behind the stumps?
Well, I think he would lead the charge in that department. Obviously, he knows all the angles, all the tricks. I'm sure it might be something we might be able to find out from Murray Cummins.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that from Murray Cummins.
Just had it confirmed. Me and PJ, says Murray Cummins. It's a team affair. We did talk about that earlier. It's been a team takeover.
And what a pick-up he has been for the Munster Reds, Murray Cummins. Stylish southpaw. He's been in fine form. Good work from Jack Carty, who will get through for one. Fionn bowling an outstanding spell, though. Like we've said a few times, Curtis Campher, Gareth Delaney out injured. This Munster Red side has been shy of probably their two most experienced players at the international level. If you add to that the loss of Tyrone Kane now, how well is the Munster side doing to be so competitive?
I think they've done really good. You know, I think they've hit a number of the, the KPIs, as they call them in today's day and age. They haven't been afraid. They've been in decent winning positions without actually finishing the job, but they've been competitive. And that's exactly what we want, and it's just made it such more interesting.
Edged right off the outside edge. That's misfortune for Fionn and a poor piece of work. I think it's the 12th man who's on from Theo Dempsey. He should have stopped that, really. That's not going to please Ted Williamson. The 50 comes up just a ball shy of the halfway stage of this first innings.
Well, that's a real frustration, Andrew. That's a ball that should have been stopped, really. Overran it. Just get something on it. Get it in front of your body. Save your team. Probably two. They probably would have got back for two. And
see that kind of stylish drive from Kennedy. Kind of front foot plants and the back foot flamboyantly splays out. You were talking about it being a bit like a Desi Haynes or a Gordon Greenidge or someone like that.
That little bit of calypso, as you call it. But that's 10 gone. 52 for 5. Who would have thought, Andrew Leonard, the Warriors, who virtually put in the perfect performance yesterday, would be sitting at the halfway stage here having elected to bat at 52 for 5?
Well, I can tell you something. We obviously don't condone betting at all on any form of cricket, but if you had given me a free token bet, let's say, and you had to ask me who's going to win the two games today, by the form book you would have had to say the Leinster Lightning and the Northwest Warriors after their performances yesterday. The Lightning beaten out of sight and the Reds all over the Warriors. This is why we love the Interpro series, isn't it?
Well, I think it's a measure of the competition, and it's what's brought us excitement even in watching it week in, week out. I've really enjoyed the games. I've enjoyed the IP20. As you say, the Northwest Warriors snuck over the line against the Lightning. They probably would have won the 50 over competition.
Really good sweep shot from McBride. He's taken a long time to get going. Got that away behind square on the leg side. The only thing I'd like to see Greg Ford do a little more is everything is so flat, it's just a little predictable. And McBride's picked that up well, gets it away for 4.
Absolutely. And again, there'll be a calmness and an assuredness from Andrew McBride. That's one thing for sure. Very good thinking cricketer.
Driven down the ground this time. Just going to be a single to follow up the 4. Yeah, McBride is Just such a dab hand at whatever the situation, whether it be with bat ball in the field or as a leader. He is a modern day multifunctional cricketer. And alongside Graham Kennedy, the two left-handers are going to have to rebuild this innings, and they're doing just that at the moment.
And they have to, because they've got to try and get themselves up to what might be or could be a competitive total here.
That one's hit square on the offside. Going to be work to do in the deep. For Mike Frost, who does it really well. They will get back for 2, despite the good throw and quick glove work from PJ Moore, who does ask the question. But Kennedy safely home for 2.
Did well. And again, that was a feature of his play in any of the games. This playing square of the wicket, particularly in the offside, using the pace of the ball. Graham Kennedy hits really well in that area. Can just open the face. So effective, because it holds your square fielders rigid to the ground.
Yeah, beautifully bowled. Yorks. Kennedy, Ford gets out of his third over. 11 gone. It's 60 for 5.
So from here, really, 9 to go. It's going to be very interesting to see where the Warriors end up.
Yeah, Fionhan's going to bowl right the way through. 2 for 18 he's got from 3 overs. Murray Cummins and PJ Moore doing the captaincy duties together. And Andy McBride has just extended his arms through that one. He's hit one straight into the gardens. That could be into Brian O'Rourke's parents' house, straight down the ground for 6.
There's been many a ball hit in there, and that's just another cracking shot from Andy McBride. Again, straight swish swing of the bat, straight into the gardens. Great shot from Andy McBride.
Yeah, and our cameraman up in the gantry doing a sterling job at managing to track that one all the way into the gardens. Second replacement ball. Wonder will we get that one back? I'm sure we will. The residents in Sandymount well accustomed to tossing the white and red cricket balls back over the fence. Great action here in Pembroke on day 2 of the festival.
Important phase of the game, this, Andrew, for the Warriors. Seems as if Fionhan took a little bit of pace off there, Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew McBride, just that sort of quite low backlift. That was the short, sharp acceleration through the ball that powered that 6 down the ground. And mixing it up well in response. And again, another slower ball. Good from Fionhan. The flick back of the hair and the follow through. Stylish cricketer.
Common theme. I'm surprised he isn't one of these ones. Mark Adair headband. No headband for Fionhan.
Down the track, it comes off the under edge. Really good work from PJ Moore. Just manages to parry it away to save what was a certain boundary.
He's done well throughout in that regard, PJ Moore. He's tidied up a lot of that type of difficult stuff, you would say. And again, great movement to his right-hand side. And he saved his team 3 runs.
So nearly cannoning into off stump. The under edge, just really saw it on the replay there. Fionhan could well have had a 3rd wicket. He would have deserved it as well. He's bowled a really good spell here. Would have hit a 4th stump, Alan, but not quite. The off stump just evaded it. Deceives Kennedy, who ends up checking his drive. He does really well. I think he realised he was outthought there, but just got enough in it to scoop it over the head of the bowler and runs his hands through his hair. Can't quite believe he didn't get a 3rd wicket. Good spell from him. He's finished. He's bowled his allocation of 4. The Reds still on top. It's 68 for 5.
Super spell that from Fionhan. He's done really well. Enthusiastic throughout. He's never really relented, keeps running in, keeps charging in. No questioning his effort. And he's got due reward today.
Quite like the way that PJ Moore and Murray Cummins are approaching this. They're just keeping it simple. No need to do anything too strange. Do the basic things right. Get your off-spinner bowling to the left-handers while they're in. Bow Fionn hands straight the way through. So often see almost schizophrenic bowling changes, don't we, in T20 cricket for the sake of them. It's easy when the opposition are 60 odd for 5, but just good, solid stuff from the two men of African origin.
Well, again, an example of that. Bowling Fionn hand through. 4 overs for 25, 2 for 25. Done your job.
So nearly missing that one, McBride. PJ Moore would have been anticipating the stumping that he was about to take, but he just got his bat down and the ball skirts away off the inside edge.
As you say, good stuff this from the Munster Reds. They might look for 2 here, Andrew.
Yeah, good call from Andy McBride. Can't afford to lose another wicket, so ran hard for the first, didn't get back for the second. Whatever the Munster Reds head coach Ted Williamson has done overnight seems to have been creating the positive effect that the Northern Knights head coach Simon Johnston did. I asked him actually after the game, I said, what did you do last night? And he said, well, actually, we let the players do a lot of talking. The reason, I think, for that, they wanted them to own just how poor they were yesterday.
Yeah, and in fairness, oh, that's a cracking shot. Whether Ford could have got a hand on that, it was hit incredibly powerfully. Great shot from Andy McBride, and they're getting there, gradually eating themselves back into this game, Andrew.
Yeah, good use of the feet from McBride. Straight as a die. Don't think it was anything like a chance. Alan Neil, I've got to package up some of these umpire reactions as the ball gets hammered back at them. Paul Reynolds won yesterday. Alan Neil can be a dangerous place standing 25, 26 yards away with the power that the modern batsman possesses, particularly when they come down the track.
Well, we've commonly seen that in that higher level international cricket. Bruce Oxenford, of course, with his arm guard, his helmet. You name it. The players are so powerful these days. In the blink of an eye, a ball could be back. I'm actually amazed there aren't more nasty injuries. Bowlers in their follow-through. We've seen a few of them, and it's not pleasant.
Yeah, it was Fletcher, wasn't it, of Nottinghamshire, who took the nastiest one that I think anyone's ever seen in the T20 blast. Right to his head, ended up out of the game for about 12 to 18 months. It's just so difficult, isn't it, when you've got powerful batsmen who are happy to use their feet against medium fast bowlers coming down the track and trying to smash the ball straight. There's obviously no intent to hit the bowler ever, but quite often there's a big gap in the field, because even if long off and long on are out, if you hit the ball straight, just like Andy McBride did there's never a fielder there. So you're always going to get maximum reward. And that's why I think, like we were discussing with Nigel Jones in between the two games, the Leinster Lightning head coach, why he was so disappointed with his batting effort. They weren't targeting straight down the ground too often. I think Josh Little and Barry McCarthy did at the end. But the rest of the batting approach was everything square, hitting across the line. You know, the Knights were too disciplined with their bowling attack. Aaron Cawley back into the attack from the Willfield Road end. Again, the Reds keeping things simple. They'll be happy with anything under 130, I suspect, from this position.
Absolutely.
Graham Kennedy, not a power hitter, but we've seen just how efficient he is and effective he is with the bat.
Absolutely. He's tends to use the pace of the ball, particularly square of the wicket on the offside. Any sort of width there at all. His ability to pierce the infield, getting it wide of that backward point. Really, really good.
That one a little bit like the delivery that dismissed Nathan Maguire. Not short enough to pull. McBride very nearly paying the price. just the line, just missing off stump. That natural shape the Cawley gets, bringing it across the left-hander and just almost kissing the off stump, but not quite.
He's doing a very good job for his team. 2.2 overs, 1 for 8 now, Aaron Cawley. And he hasn't really strayed from that, just back of a length. Again, he's there again.
Reds have been good in the field as well. With the exception of that one misfield from Dempsey. Everything else has been spot on the money. It's going to be interesting for me now. I'll take a look at the bowling figures probably at the end of this over, but do you go back to your left arm spinner now with the two left-handers in? Remember, no Tyrone Kane on the pitch right now. There's a guaranteed banker 4 overs you don't get to utilise for the Reds. It's hit down towards Michael Frost, the left-arm spinner, but it's going to go over his head and very close to our commentary position, just thudding into the wall. That's a really good shot from Graham Kennedy. We said he's not a power hitter. He's powered that one all the way for 6.
Well, the interesting thing, what he's done cleverly, is he's hit with the breeze. And, of course, due to our own cameras here today, the boundary rope is in that little bit more than it would normally be. On any Saturday afternoon, that might very well have been caught, Andrew.
He's clearly targeted the shorter boundary, and I actually don't think he's intended to hit it that straight. What he's trying to do, there's a massive gap between long on and deep backward square leg. There is a mid-wicket in, but he's quite tight in the circle. So I think he was probably looking more to hit that towards a cow corner. Has got it a bit straighter, but he's got enough of it to get it all the way for a maximum.
Ticking along nicely now. Both players on 20 odd apiece.
Good fight back this, and a good partnership just building between the two left-handers. 14 overs gone, it's 85 for 5. What are the bowling options for the Reds? Is Michael Frost going to have to bowl his remaining 3 overs, all from the St. John's Road end of the ground? That would mean he'd have to bowl overs 15, 17, 19. Is that a risk with a left-arm spinner?
Well, of course it's a risk, but it's more of a risk because there's not a huge amount one can do. You've got to back one of your mainline bowlers, Tyrone Kane, off the field. The only thing is, he's bowling, as I say, with a breeze, so the batters are having to hit into the breeze, unlike the other end. So it is the longer of the two boundaries, even though they're both short.
The alternative, I suppose, for the Munster Reds would be to go to Jack Carty.
Potentially, yes. And he could do a job. Tall, right arm bowler, Ford.
Good figures for Matt Ford, those, Alan. 1 for
Very
22 from 4. Got the big wicket of William Porterfield. So the left arm spinner has returned to the attack. He's going to bowl over the wicket to the two left-handers. Just darts it in. Everything's going to be darted in here. Nothing's going to be given any flight, I don't think.
Certainly not. And it shouldn't really be either. Again, just attack the pads, attack the stumps. For our viewers, of course, Andrew Leonard in a beanie in blazing sunshine. And of course, we all know why. He's very concerned about that dome of his.
It's a beautiful day, isn't it? Sunshine streaming across the ground here at the wonderful Sydney Parade and Pembroke Cricket Club, south of Dublin City. This is what the summer is all about. Cricket. High-level cricket brought to you all the way around the world on our live stream. Brian down the track will just get through for a single. I think I might have to try and find myself one of those Tony Gregg or Richie Benno hats, Alan, for future gigs. We're out in the open air, so the beanie not on for heat reasons, just to protect the hair.
You need a trilby.
A trilby.
Little trilby tour. Suit you down to the ground.
Might have to see if that gets picked up ahead of Breedy ahead of next week. Maybe could find my way to the outlets on the way up the road to the northwest. Kennedy and McBride rebuilding really effectively here, and they needed to do it because the Warriors, they're still in trouble, but they were in all sorts of trouble. Down the track, could this be a chance for long off? It was, but he can't cling on. They put the tallest fielder they have down there at long off. It's Jack Carty. He's gone like a goalkeeper, and he could only get a palm on it. It sent Graham Ford away to go and chase it because it's running away down the rugby pitch for 6.
This is now the beginnings of a really good recovery from the Northwest Warriors. Graham Ford. Come on, Graham, you can move a bit quicker than that, my son. Spends most of his time sitting in a chair observing. Watches a lot of cricket, Graham Ford, round Ireland. That's going to be bigger. That's going to be bigger, Andrew. And again, probably not.
Ford's back on his bike. That's not what you're supposed to be doing as the head coach of Ireland.
Just stay out there, 40. Wait for more of the artillery.
This is a better shot. Much more convincing. Down the track again. We said bowling the left arm spinner to two left-handers was a risk. McBride has taken his time. He hasn't gone right from the off. He knew his side needed to rebuild, but 2 sixes off the final 2 deliveries of Frost. Is that the last we're going to see of him today? Will they have to go to the reserve option of Jack Carty? The 100 comes up, 15 overs gone.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. The 100 up, and this is a very good recovery. Andrew McBride now moved on to 37. Graham Kennedy quietly 24. And that's always another sign of a player. You kind of think, where has Graham Kennedy scored 24?
Look at the partnerships, Alan. 60. This one worth. It's worth more than half of the Northwest Warriors innings so far. 41 for 5, with the exception of McClintock's 23. The rest of the Warriors top order all at sea. But the number 6 and 7, McBride and Kennedy, the two left-handers, have built a brilliant recovery. We are going to see the seam of Jack Carty, but it's going to be from this, the Willfield Road end. 6th bowler to be used. Remember, no Tyrone Kane. If you're just tuning in for the first time this afternoon, Tyrone Kane in the first over of the match this afternoon, the 4th game of the series, doing himself a real nuisance on his right ankle. Carty's going to come around the wicket to McBride. Do you think this is the right decision to just give PJ Moore and Murray Cummins, the stand-in captains, something to work with, even though he started with the leg side wide?
I think it probably is. Again, in this game of swinging momentum, Aaron Cawley there, I'd probably want him to bowl the penultimate over, I would have thought.
How was that missed, Alan? That is kept low. Look back at the replay of this. This is millimetres. It can't be more than millimetres.
Well, it was a long hop, Andrew, really, wasn't it? Could have gone anywhere in the park, I think.
Not sure how that's missed, Alan.
I'm not sure how it missed either.
This one hit down towards us, and it's going to be taken just in front of us. I was standing up in preparation to take it on the one bounce. Mike Frost knew better than me. He took one step back, not onto the rope, but just in front of the rope. Settled himself really well. That's a good catch, a good skill. Carty strikes.
Carty does strike, and it's a good catch. Very well judged by Michael Frost. And again, all the Munster team in the huddle, all together. Big wicket that. Just as the Northwest Warriors were gaining and gathering a momentum, they lose another wicket. Graham Kennedy.
He's gone for 24 from 24 deliveries. A good innings from him. 1-4 and 1-6. It's going to bring Graham Hume to the crease in at number 8 for the Warriors, final rounder. He's led the attack really well, particularly in the 50 over format for the Warriors alongside Craig Young. Good attack, the Warriors attack as well. Could well see 12 overs of spin bowled later on. Alan, what do you think?
Absolutely. Certainly that's something Andrew McBride spoke to me about at the toss. It was one of their rationales and reasons. Just another 20 overs in this pitch might start to take a wee bit of turn. And that was a large part of his rationale for batting. And at the moment they've still got work to do to get up to any sort of a meaningful total. And I sense if they can get anywhere near 130, 140, they will feel they've got a total they can defend, Andrew.
Yeah, particularly if they could get up to 140, Alan. 140 plus would be a remarkable recovery from 41 for 5. Carty's going to continue around the wicket. McBride not on strike. Hume is on strike. And he's got an outside edge. It's just short of PJ Moore. That could have been 2 wickets and 2 balls. That would have been a killer blow for the Warriors. But Hume survives, gets off the mark.
I just wonder, Andrew, was that a chance? Had PJ Moore got the opportunity, or did it bounce just in front, did you feel?
I don't think it carried, Alan.
Let's have a look.
Just short.
Oh.
Just one of those ones. I reckon even if he's caught it, it's gone up to the DRS. It would have been wedged between the ground. He made good ground to his left. They'll get through for a single. Cardy's bowling some good stuff here. He's saying to his skipper, why am I only coming on in the 16th over? Or his skippers, as it was, the stand-in captains, PJ Moore and Murray Cummins, sharing the duties. Surely we're not going to see any more of the left-arm spinner Michael Frost now.
Who knows? Who knows? That's 6 down. We might just have a look and see.
They still have 2
What's
overs
left?
of Josh Manley and 1 of Aaron Cawley left.
Well, I think you might be absolutely right, Andrew. Certainly 3 of the 4 will be bowled by them. And I'm sure you can squeeze after this over another one out of Jack Carty.
He might be saying, I want to bowl all 3 of them, Alan.
Possibly Andrew Leonard.
Really good, tight stuff, with the exception of the wide. Interestingly, our graphics indicating that delivery for Hume was given as leg byes. We'll get that checked, because surely that was an outside edge, Alan. Hit into the leg side. There's space out there. That's the gap that Kennedy was looking for when he was at the crease. Look at the Pembroke wall there, bathing in the sunshine. The crowd there, 4 more to the total.
There'll be a lot of redness around that wall after today. The infamous Pembroke wall. If you want to catch a sunshine, get yourself sitting down there for a couple of hours.
It's a beautiful day, Alan, isn't it? And the mercury is starting to rise. It feels hot. What temperature would you say it is?
Oh, it's in the 20s today, Andrew.
18, it says.
18, I can't believe that. It feels
Feels
hotter
hotter.
than that here.
I'd say across in Railway Union, across the road, it's 7 or 8 degrees
Tell
right
you,
now.
you'd be in a rain jacket over there. It's extraordinary thing that 2 grounds are within 100 yards of one another. One you could be in shirt sleeves, the other you could be in a polo neck sweater, and another one on top.
Josh Manley back into the attack from the St John's Road end. Those Cricket Leinster volunteers doing a great job. That's McDara Cosgrave there from Pembroke Cricket Club, younger brother of David Cosgrave, and
Who I see was in the runs today for
he was.
Trinity.
I'm just about to give you a bit of news. Dublin University, Trinity first, playing in senior division, top of Group D for the first time, as they beat the Hills for the first time since 1999.
Wow.
Big result, that.
Huge result, that. Any other results for us, for the viewers?
We'll bring those up towards the end of the first innings. I'll get the Cricket Leinster match centre up, and look at that. That's raised just off a length. Mix up. Direct hit's going to be close. Can't affect the direct hit. Andy McBride wanted one, and Graham Hume has just stood there, so bemused by the additional lift and bounce he forgot to run.
Interesting, this Manley getting it into... Oh, that climbed. Again, when you're caught by surprise like that, but McRyan got back.
It's not what you want to do to your captain, Alan.
Certainly not, but that just... They talk about this Pembroke Ridge.
Looks for the pull shot, doesn't really get any time, and he will get McBride back on to strike. Hume off the mark. We do think that leg by was correctly given. It's what it's in the book as at the moment, so Hume off the mark with that pull.
What do you make of this Pembroke Ridge that they talk about? Do you bit in it, or... Obviously you're a local boy here, Andrew, played all your cricket in Pembroke.
Yeah, certainly get a little bit of lift from this, the St John's Road end. That little bit of lift is just accounted for Andy McBride, who was late on the pull shot, and he punches his bat in frustration. He's given it away, but Josh Manley has been excellent today. He's bowled with an extra yard of pace than we've probably seen from him all year. Steady in his run-up, bangs it in short. A little bit too quick. The extra bounce accounts for McBride.
Great bowling from Munster this. They've been really together. The discipline with their bowling and fielding today has been superb. And they've hardly put a foot wrong here, Andrew Leonard. 108 for 7 now in the 17th over. And any thoughts of potentially clawing themselves to 140 may have finished. But we all know we saw a flurry from the Northern Knights at the end. We saw a flurry from the Leinster Lightning in a despairing cause at the end. Will we see another one here?
Hume certainly very competent and capable, but the interesting thing for me has been just how effective the seam bowlers have been. Have the Warriors gone a bit light in their seam bowlers? One of those seam bowlers, Jared Wilson, to the crease now at number 9. So they probably have the option of Shane Getgate as well to give them enough seam overs, but they've been certainly the stronger of the two bowlers. This wicket likely to be the wicket we use for all 3 days of the festival here. Certainly played flat and true in the first match this morning. High score from the Northern Knights, and it was nothing to do with the pitch. The fact the Leinster Lightning couldn't chase it down, they were just outclassed today. But the Munster Reds, their bowling attack has responded in a brilliant fashion after their bonus point defeat to the Lightning yesterday. They've come back in a big way.
I thought Jared Wilson settled in very well with the ball yesterday. Certainly not overawed.
Short ball barrage continues from Manley. He's dispatched into the leg side, and Fionhan can't cut it off. What a start to the innings from Wilson, to his innings, that is. His first ball, picks up the length quickly, pulls it away for 4.
Great shot. Jared Wilson was high on the bat, but it sped away across this very quick outfield in Pembroke. The easier side of the ground to field.
He's got it in front to square, which is a good effort with the pace of Manley. Back of a length this time, hit through the offside. 2 deliveries, 2 fours. It's an easy game in at number 9. Get him up the order.
That's an even better shot, Andrew. Transition onto the back foot and smash that backward a square for 4. That's a cracking shot.
Still plenty of runs to be had out here, and we saw that even from Barry McCarthy and Josh Little, like you said, that 51-run partnership that they combined so effectively with to give the Lightning a little bit of late hope. Let's hit through the offside again. Wilson's come to the crease at number 9. He's gone 4, 4, 4. The Warriors move to 120. They've still got 18 deliveries to work with.
That's extraordinary. What a great effort from Jared Wilson. 3 cracking shots. Have a look at this again, Andrew. Bang! Up on his toes. Top of the bounce. Late. That's brilliant batting by Jared Wilson.
I tell you why it's so brilliant as well. I think backward point had just gone a little finer after he'd hit it to his left. Stands up a little bit more, rides the bounce, hits it to his right for 4 more. Great batting. Power right the way through this Warriors order. And Jack Harty is going to bowl the 18th, so we won't see the left arm spin of Michael Frost again. Just take a quick look at the bowling figures if we can as well. We'll see the options for the Reds. Just a very quick look as the bowler gets ready. Probably see one from Cawley and one from Manley. Maybe just this one from Carty as he approaches the crease. That's a big appeal. Surely, Alan, that's incredibly close. If this is signalled as leg byes, tell me on the replay what this one's going to miss. I think this is very close indeed.
The only thing is he comes from very wide, Jack Carty. Rolly Black might have felt it was going down. Like, we'll have a look. Ooh. I'm with you there, Andrew. I'm with you there.
I think that one...
Just because he shuffled his way offside. He was on off stump. You could see all of leg stump. That's out.
So often the appeal is a crucial aspect to whether a decision is given or not, and there was nothing from PJ Moore behind the stumps, and Jack Carty was almost late in his appeal. And by the time he'd appealed, Rolly Black was already off towards his position to adjudge the run out and signalling leg by.
Well, I think there's huge emphasis on appealing. There's nothing worse than having a wicket keeper who's half-hearted with appealing, bowler who's half-hearted. Kind of ask the umpire in the right way.
Hit down the ground, and Wilson's going to continue. He's only faced 5 balls. He's moved to 18. What a shot that is. 6 more. Length from Carty, punished by Wilson. A little cameo, a gem of a knock down the order for the Warriors.
This is class from Wilson. That's a great shot. Straight into the side screen at the Willfield Road end. And, just in the blink of an eye, we talked about Warriors maybe getting to one. They'd be thinking 150 now.
How quickly the game can change. This has gone behind square on the leg side. Going to be more runs to the total. It won't go all the way for 4. Seamus Lynch will do the work in the deep, but critically Wilson will retain the strike. Wilson's going to be saying to his coach at the end of the day, why is Graham Hume batting ahead of me?
Well, when you've got 20 off 6, you've every right to ask that question.
The adrenaline will be pumping out there, won't it? You come in late in the order. It can be difficult to go from ball 1, but that's exactly what he's done. 4-4-4-1. 4-4-4.62. Has the strike, 20 off 6. Strike rate of over 300 right now. The immediate call is no. Hume's come a long way down. Direct hit's going to be out, I think. It is out.
That's great work.
Where was Graham Hume going? There was never a single there. He sprinted almost halfway down. He nearly ran out of his captain, Andy McBride. He's now run himself out.
Again, that's a very good piece of work. Aaron Coley, it looked to be there, but he's under him. They've hit the poles, and there's always great excitement when you do that. Nothing like direct hits.
Almost like a bit of lawn bowling, Alan,
Well,
wasn't it?
indeed, but I don't care
lined it
whether
up.
I don't know whether you care whether you lawn bowl it, chuck it, throw it, do whatever you want. When you hit the poles, there's no better feeling, particularly when you get the run out.
Critical thing for the Warriors, though, it's Hume that falls. He goes run out for 1 from 4 deliveries. Wilson's still there. He'll be on strike. Craig Young in at number 10. Young certainly capable of hitting a very big ball as well. Could see the Warriors bowled out. I don't think they're going to change their approach. 13 deliveries remain. Like you said, they're going to be thinking north of 150 somehow, which, given the positions they've been in, 41 for 5 in particular, would be a magnificent effort.
Well, you kind of break it down now, Andrew, don't you? The last thing you want to do is leave balls behind.
Good batting. Only wanted a single really there. I suspected Wilson will get those graphics corrected because they're saying that Hume is still in. He's not, I assure you. That's Jared Wilson moves to 21 not out. That's the end of the 18th over. The score is correct. 130 for 8.
Yes, indeed. Graham Hume was the batsman to depart. Run out. Jared Wilson still there for our viewers. And again, Craig Young being credited with the single. In fact, it's Jared Wilson's single. So hopefully we can get that rectified for you.
Yeah, Wilson 21 not out at the moment. He's got Craig Young at the crease with him. Scorers will just jump on and correct that, I'm sure, no doubt. 2 overs remain, so 12 deliveries to work with for the Northwest Warriors. And I think, forget about the wickets column for the moment. I think if you told Gary Wilson, the head coach, that when they were 41 for 5, they'd be at 130 with still 12 deliveries remaining, they'd have been pretty happy with that. Manley's been good, but he was dispatched for 3 consecutive boundaries by Wilson, who's on strike. Wilson's going to continue. A nice pick-up shot into the leg side. All the men in the deep, all on the leg side. 4 fielders there. They're all right on the rope, Alan.
There was a bit of JC Greenwich in that. The old left knee up in the air from Jared Wilson.
Andrew White, the Cricket Ireland Chair of Selectors, just walking past us. I'm going to be chatting to him during the break. Alan, I'm going to have to leave you bang on the final delivery. Go and get into makeup, get the hair done, get ready for Andrew White.
Get your dome polished, I'd say, for the old viewers.
A little bit of oil on there, maybe.
A little bit of a shine on that dome of yours.
I'll tell you something, if you do have any questions for Andrew White, get them in to me. Send me a tweet there at Cricket Badge or send it into Cricket Ireland. Craig Easdown, the media manager, will get that across to me. What do you want to hear from Andrew White? We're going to be talking all things Cricket World Cup Super League and, most importantly for the format we're playing today, the T20 World Cup later in the year. How do you go about selecting that squad?
Well, we've got a diet of another festival next weekend in Breedy and a further one. Oh, bit of extra pace there from Josh Manley, and then there might be talk of another one possibly in Munster. Get as much T20 cricket. There's talk around the grounds. Graham Ford might be a bit anxious to see another round of this.
Alan, would that mean 3 days in Cork, 6 live streams? That sounds good.
Sounds good to me. If invited by the CEO of HBV Studios, Mr. Tector.
Well,
of course, for him today.
It's a beautiful ground, the Mardike, and that is a beautiful shot. Look at that high, handsome cannoning into the side screen. Alan Neal has got his arms up. That's sensational. What a cameo from Wilson. He's leading the Warriors to north of 150 here, surely now.
That's brilliant from Jared Wilson. That is a great hit. Got himself leg side of the ball, and he's hit the top of the side screen at the far end. Fantastic cricket, this from Jared Wilson.
A gem of a knock, 11 deliveries. He's got 28 already. 8 remain. Edged and given and taken. A good catch from PJ Moore. The cameo ends. He falls after 12 balls. That back of a length delivery has just risen on Wilson. He didn't really get into a position to be able to play it. You could audibly hear the edge, and a good simple catch for PJ Moore.
And it's one of those things, another swish of the bat after he's out, but it's been a great innings for him, a great innings for his team. 28 from 12 deliveries. Great to watch. And as I said earlier, he wasn't required to bat on the previous day, but looked very comfortable with his bowling. And certainly his captain and his coach will be very happy with that contribution. It's bringing Ross Allen to the crease.
He's in at legs 11. Final batsman for the Warriors. 138 for 9. You have to think he should probably just try to survive here and give Craig Young 6 balls to try and use those long levers. Probably be Aaron Cawley. Does bowl the ball angling into the right-handers. You think Craig Young can target down the ground?
What would you like to do if you were Josh Manley right now? Single delivery left. Legs 11 at the other end. Where are you going?
There's only one place, Alan. Full straight in the block hole. Knock out not just one, not just two. Knock out all 3 stumps. Knock him out of the ground. Wrap it up here. Let's chase down 139 for the Reds.
Couldn't agree more, Andrew Leonard.
Where's he going to go? It's gone length. Beats Ross Allen. Not the worst result for the Warriors, though. Young will have the strike. 1 over remains. A score 138 for 9.
And it is indeed Aaron Cawley to finish off proceedings here. PJ Moore taking centre stage. Be quite interesting. Know the Moore family well, I'm sure. Peter, Dad is watching on diligently, if you are, Peter. Greetings from downtown Pembroke. Beautiful day here. And hopefully for what spectators are here, an exciting finish to the second day of this T20 festival.
Yeah, I think we deserve a good close finish. We haven't had one yet. We've had 3 very one-sided games, 2 of them bonus point victories, and it was a dominant win for the Northern Knights. If it wasn't for that partnership at the end for the Lightning, it would have been a 3rd bonus point win. Aaron Cawley's going to bowl the final over the innings. Craig Young does get bat onto it, but thuds into the pad as well, so Theo Dempsey will do the fielding through for a single. Cawley will just be looking to get away with even 6 singles he'd be happy with here. Would be a really good all-round effort from a Munster Reds team that is not had the services their captain Tyrone Kane, who's done himself an injury in the first over of the match.
It'll be interesting to see, will Tyrone Kane be able to bat? That will be interesting. Of course, I suppose the first priority will be his health.
He loves bowling to left-handers, Aaron Cawley, doesn't he? Because that shape, that natural angle he creates with that wrist position that comes down behind the left of the ball is such a threat.
He's done a very good job for his team today, Aaron Cawley. he hasn't really veered from that disciplined line of on or outside off stump, back of a length. It's been really, really good.
Come off an under edge, and it's gone very, very fine indeed. Theo Dempsey can't cut that one off, right off the toe end of the bat, I believe, Alan. And 4 runs to your namesake, Ross Allen.
Yeah, it's a deeply frustrating thing when that happens. As you say, a little bit of an under edge, even the toe end of the bat. And it easily beat Theo Dempsey down there at third man. It's in fact something I kind of believe in. I think on this ground you're much better with your fine leg and your third man that little bit finer.
Right into the block hole, and PJ Moore has missed it. We're going to wait for the signal. I think it could well be buys, but just like you wanted, Alan, it is buys indeed. Theo Dempsey had come a lot finer down at third man. That's probably saved 3 runs.
Good bowling again from Aaron Cawley.
So remember, at the end of this innings, in just a couple of balls' time, we'll have Andrew White, the chairman of selectors of Cricket Ireland. As Young gets that through the offside, but there's protection down there. That's Michael Frost, so just a single. Any questions for Andrew White, just let me know them at Cricket Badge on Twitter, or send them in to the Cricket Ireland Facebook or Instagram page. I'll get those questions in. Looking forward to hearing his thoughts, Alan.
Absolutely. And I'm sure you'll get all chapter and verse from the chairman of selectors as you interrogate him about aspects of Irish cricket, and I'm looking forward to hearing it, I have to say.
Not going to interrogate him, don't worry.
Well,
final delivery of the innings into the block hole completes a really good spell from Aaron Cawley. He's been superb. In fact, Munster have been superb. Perhaps just advantage the Reds. 146 for 9 after 20 overs. We could have a thrilling chase coming up. Alan, I'm going to leave you to run away and prep for that interview with Andrew White. Leave you to run through the cards.
Be delighted to do that, Andrew. And a real interesting innings there. Great recovery in the end from the Warriors, who will feel from a position of 40 for 5 to get to 146 and use the full complement of 20 overs that they're still in the game. And we'll probably have a look at that batting card now as the Munster Reds leave the field, and there it is there, and look at those scores early on. Fantastic effort from the Munster Reds, but no contributions from Getgate, Maguire, Porterfield, Doheny, little glimmer of hope, and then cameo from William McClintock, stability brought through Andrew McBride and Graham Kennedy, and a fantastic innings by Jared Wilson. 28 from 12 deliveries was able to bring the Northwest Warriors, and a total I'm sure the coach will be delighted with in the end. And they're the mainstay, that partnership between McBride and Kennedy. 61, and a cameo from Jared Wilson at the end was the real feature of that Northwest Warriors innings. And to get to 146, I think they'll be very pleased from the position they were in. And here's the Reds. Matt Ford, very economic early on, but the pick of the bowlers for me, Aaron Cawley, I thought he really threatened throughout. Fionn Hand did a really good job in the middle. Bowled his 4 overs through, 2 for 26. Frost took a bit of tap. Jack Carty did a job, of course, because Tyrone Kane had to leave the field. And I think overall, both camps will actually be happy. Munster will feel that they can really chase this down. And if we're being true about it, perhaps wonderful for the competition, potentially, if they do. But the Warriors will come out fighting. They've got a very good attack, and defending 146, they'll feel they can do that. So it's all to play for. There we are. That's the final total. 147 is what the Munster Reds will need in their 20 overs. And we're going to be ready now to pass over to Andrew Leonard. But prior to that, we have a little bit of a video just to whet the appetite for a man who's been a great of the game for Ireland.
Yeah, some wonderful, great memories there of one of the great legends of Irish cricket, Kevin O'Brien, yesterday calling time on his ODI, his 50-over career. 153 one-day international appearances, the most for Ireland. And the man to my right, Andrew White, would have played an awful lot of those ODIs with him. Perhaps took you a little by surprise, the decision of Kevin O'Brien yesterday, but his legacy on the 50-over game, a real huge one.
Yeah, absolutely. I was with him in his first game against England at Stormont back in 2006. But even then, the way he conducted himself in those first few games, you knew that he was going to be around for a long time. And a long time it's been for him. But thankfully, there's still a bit of cricket left in him with whatever test matches we have in the future, and obviously the T20 stuff as well. But a fantastic servant in the ODI format, and has given us many great memories. And I have to say, it was always better having him on our side than anybody else's.
Yeah, well said. His legacy with the white ball, the 50-over game, not just the famous centuries against England, Kenya, and those late power-hitting knocks he's provided at World Cups, but a really good performer with the ball as well, Ireland's leading ODI wicket taker.
Yeah, and big wickets as well. Bowled good spells when you needed it. Sort of complemented the likes of Andre, both Alex Kuzak down the years with those, with Nobby up to the stumps, obviously his brother, chirping away at the opposition. The two of them really loved the battle, and there's no doubt that over the years he has been a pivotal figure in the Irish side. We all know that, but his contributions have been huge.
Yeah. Final question on Kev. The second last of the players now from that famous win over Pakistan in 2007, and that squad that went to the Caribbean that you were part of, to be left playing 50-over cricket. Just William Porterfield and Owen Morgan left. Owen Morgan obviously doing it for England, but William Porterfield showing just during the week that he's still got plenty of cricket in him. But that was a real golden generation that you were involved with.
Yeah, and I think the hunger of that generation is epitomised by the likes of William, who's still going 100 the other day. And it's just that stubborn mindset whereby everything matters, every run matters, every wicket matters, and has done through the years. And I think obviously the new generation are still in a position to learn from the likes of William, Kev, Gary Wilson. So that's fantastic as well.
So we've got Andrew White here. We're going to be chatting to him about his role as the Cricket Ireland Chair of Selectors. Andrew, we're going to have to start with a bit of a post-mortem, really. You trekked a 2-1 defeat, far from ideal, and really a very disappointing tour of the Netherlands all round.
Yeah, certainly. We chatted at Oak Hill prior to the tour to Utrecht, and some people talked about winning 3-0 and the importance of winning 3-0, and as I said at the time, it was a game by game, and but to come out on the wrong side of the series was extremely disappointing. I know the players are extremely disappointed. It's hard not to look at conditions, and I think the conditions, they had a bowling attack which probably just outperformed us slightly in that department, made batting extremely difficult. And I think even in that third ODI, when Harry and Dockers were going so well, Dockers got one that kept low, and on such fine margins can things change. But that said, I don't think we performed well enough to warrant anything else out of it.
The two losses, the first ODI going down by literally the narrowest of margins, and then the third ODI was a very abject performance, very unlike Ireland. Even historically, it seemed lacking in energy, lacking in enthusiasm, lacking in the usual fight and the spirit we see from the Irish side. Which of those was more disappointing for you? Failing to get over the line from a winning position in the first game, or really what was a very poor performance in the third game?
I think you got to look at the third game because there was so much riding on the third game. I think in the first game, I think given going back 5-10 years, we were winning a lot of games. I think now, with the nature of the opposition we're playing regularly, we're going to probably lose more games than we win, and therefore losing becomes a habit, winning becomes a habit. So the fact we didn't get over the line in game one maybe doesn't come as a massive surprise. Those are the games you want to win to give you momentum, and who knows, had we won that first game, we might have won it 3-0. It's all ifs, buts and maybes, but I think, as you say, the third game was lacklustre. We didn't bat well. We didn't bowl straight enough. We didn't hit the stumps with enough deliveries because there was a bit of uneven bounce. And when that uneven bounce did come into play, we were 4th, 5th stump, whereas the Dutch hit the stumps probably, if you look at the stats, a lot more than we would have done.
Yeah, I think that Dutch side are going to cause some surprises as well, not just against upsetting the Test Nation in Ireland, beating us 2-1. I think they will win more games in that league, and I suppose that brings about the question now, perhaps World Cup qualification might be a bridge too far, automatic World Cup qualification, finishing the top 8 from the 13 of the Cricket World Cup Super League, but can we avoid the potential trapdoor? Can we avoid 13th place? That's a big worry now.
Well, certainly, again, we'll bring it back to the here and now and try not to look too far down the line. I think South Africa poses a huge challenge, but I think it's maybe a good series before Zimbabwe, because it gives us opposition that are obviously above Zimbabwe in terms of standard, and it's going to force us to play good cricket. It's going to force us to fight every inch to be in the fight, and I think that will hopefully stand us in good stead for Zimbabwe.
Can you almost approach the South Africa series with complete freedom? The expectations might be 0 points from that, given the rankings of South Africa, the quality of the players they're going to bring over. Would you like to see the players really go out and express themselves and try and pick up 10 or 20 points?
Yeah, because I think that's what we did against England as well. We knew England were strong favourites. We knew that if our big players played well, we had a chance, and it's going to be no different here against South Africa. Thankfully, in our own conditions, they're coming from the Caribbean, so hopefully we can catch them slightly cold at the start, and it'll certainly be colder here than the Caribbean. But
might have a hot July.
Well, here's hoping. But nothing's impossible, as we've seen over the years, and if we could pick up some points, wouldn't it be fantastic?
Would you like to see really flat wickets there? We've traditionally seen a very good batting wicket up at Malahide. Would you like to see good flat decks, and perhaps that will favour us a little more than the wickets we played on there in Utrecht?
Yeah, I know. We have conditions in mind. I know Graham Ford has conditions in mind that he thinks would be ideal for us, both from a batting point of view and from a bowling point of view, because there's no point in preparing wickets that don't suit us. But at the same time, our batters have still got to be able to score runs against the pace attack, which is pretty fearsome. So I'll let Fordy continue his work behind the scenes with that in terms of what we think. We certainly want wickets that are going to be better than we had in Holland, and no doubt we'll get that. We've always prepared decent international wickets here. Yeah,
you can keep your cards close to your chest on that. That's fine. Graham Ford, speaking of him, he'll have been disappointed with the tour to the Netherlands, but a great opportunity for him to bounce back. How much would it mean to him scoring a win or two against his home nation?
Yeah, I think he would. He's very keen to pit his wits against a team that he has obviously been born and grown up in, but also a team that he's helped coach over the years, back as far as 1999 and that World Cup. But Fordy, he's just so focused on trying to prepare our players. Again, he doesn't look too far down the line, because that's, as we've said before, a dangerous thing.
We spoke to Richard Holdsworth, the performance director, in between the interval of the morning game, the third match of this festival. He was telling us that they're going to bring about a change after the disappointment of the Netherlands, bring the players all into camp together for maybe 5 or 6 days ahead of the South Africa series, ahead of the Zimbabwe series. Do you think that will help bring about a change in fortunes? Yeah,
I think because of the nature of COVID, the regulations, the players haven't probably been around each other as much as they would have liked. The hub situation, which has worked really well in some cases, maybe hasn't allowed the international squad to be together as often as they might have been. So I think that's a good move, and it just means that everything is focused purely on that first game against South Africa.
Let's talk about T20, Craig. We've spoken about the ODIs, and I think Irish fans hugely disappointed with what happened in the Netherlands, but a great chance. The first home internationals in that Cricket World Cup Super League against South Africa, then Zimbabwe. Let's get some points on the board. Let's get the feel-good factor back. Bit of feel-good factor with the T20 coming in. Some freedom, particularly the Northwest Warriors yesterday. The way they batted, that must have excited you.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see this weekend being played in glorious sunshine. That's because it's not so long ago we were up in Breda and it was washed out. So great to have cricket, great to see some of the young players coming through and really taking the T20 game forward at this level. The T20 cricket for Ireland, the senior side, has improved greatly over the last couple of years. We were nowhere probably a couple of years ago with our T20 cricket and relied so heavily on Paul Stirling. But now we've more players who understand the game, understand their role, and we've moved up in those world rankings, which is really important. So it's going to be exciting to see how we can continue that development.
A T20 World Cup later in the year, likely to be in the UAE, not India. I don't want to specifically ask you about any player names that we might be venturing into things from this T20 festival, but what are the kind of players you're looking for? Maybe a fast bowler, certainly a couple of spinners?
Yeah, well, our spin bowling department with Simi Singh, Andy McBride hasn't played any T20 cricket really. They've been our best two bowlers in 50 over cricket, but you're always on the lookout to try and have a range of attributes within your bowling attack. Obviously, Josh Little's come in, and in fact he made his debut I think in T20 cricket out in the Emirates, going back a number of years now. That left arm seam option, Craig Young's going very well at the minute, and then of course you have your spin options. But it's something we'll look over the next couple of months to try and delve deeper into the plans for going away. Obviously conditions here are going to be completely different to the Emirates as well. Would
you like a leg spinner in that squad going to the T20 World Cup?
I think ideally, but it's still got to be your best bowlers. So you can throw anybody in. You can throw a leg spinner in, you can throw a left arm spinner in. They've still got to be up to standard. They've still got to be performing well, not only at club level, at inter-pro level. They've got to have they've got to have the fight in them, that whenever it gets tough in T20 cricket, that that they'll stand up and be counted.
What about the batting? Power hitting seems to be the talk and the buzz. The way Owen Morgan has revolutionised the limited over formats for England, playing without any fear, complete freedom. That's the approach the Warriors took yesterday. They kind of lived by the sword and died by the sword today, 41 for 5, as they tried to repeat the same.
Yeah.
But is that what you want to see? You want to see big hitting, lots of shots around the ground?
Yeah, again, you've got to be really conscious of the standard of opposition you're coming up against. There was a couple of years ago, people didn't think Andrew Balbirnie could play T20 cricket, but he's our best batter, and there's still a way to score runs in T20 cricket. You don't have to always be smashing it out of the park. Your best batters against high quality bowling, which is what you'll face in a T20 World Cup, are arguably still your best batters. Now obviously in amongst that you want to try and infiltrate some of the dynamic players. We've seen some dynamic hitting over the last couple of days, but it's just trying to get that balance right. Bearing in mind a lot of these guys, the likes of Nathan Maguire for example, haven't been exposed to anything higher than inter-pro cricket, so all of a sudden to throw them in to a T20 World Cup for example is a big ask.
But is that where the series against South Africa and Zimbabwe, not the ODI series against them, but the T20I series, are possibly a chance to give a couple of players some exposure up the level at international level? Three T20s against South Africa, 5 against Zimbabwe?
Yeah, and that's something obviously we'll look at with Graham Ford. As you try to build towards a major tournament, you've got to make sure you get enough games and enough exposure into the guys that you do believe are going to be able to meet the standard required at the top level.
The bell is ringing behind us, Andy. Just one final question for you. Been a little bit of disappointment and some quite low moments over the last 6 months. Is there a bright future ahead for this Irish men's squad, do you feel still?
I think we've always got to hope, we've always got to believe that it's possible to upset the odds against South Africa, and obviously those games against Zimbabwe now are going to be massive. But again, a couple of good performances against South Africa, and even individually for some of those guys to stand up and get runs, take wickets, is going to stand us in good stead, I think, going forward.
That's the Chair of Selectors for Cricket Ireland, Andrew White. We thank you for joining us. Thank you for your time. Interesting to hear his thoughts. I'm going to get back to the commentary position where Alan Lewis is chomping at the bit. Who's going to win game 4 of the series? Will it be the Northwest Warriors or will it be the Munster Reds in the second upset of the day?
Great insight there. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you both Andrews, in fact. Chairman of Selectors Andrew White giving us insights into the next few weeks and beyond. And we're back and ready to go for the second half of this 4th match in a series of 6 this weekend, in what we as the neutral will be hoping is a close finish. Munster chasing down 146, 147 to win. So it's going to be really interesting. And again, Northwest going with the tried and tested formula. Andrew McBride taking the first over. So opening the batting for Munster, PJ Moore. course, good international experience, PJ Moore for Zimbabwe now, looking to qualify and play for Ireland. And it's lovely to have Andrew Leonard back beside me in the commentary box. It's been a heavy workload today, Andrew.
Yeah, barely catching my breath running back from that interview with Andrew White. Really interesting to hear his thoughts. Always appreciate his honesty. Has been a disappointing 6 months for Ireland. Bright future ahead, let's hope. Andy McBride to get us going. Just as he did yesterday. 4 overs, 1 for 20 yesterday. They're going to need something similar. Perhaps a little surprised to see Carty opening the batting again. What do you think, Alan?
Yeah, I wondered were they going to ship Seamus Lynch up to the top of the order. But it will be interesting to see how they approach this. Maybe the whole idea, left-hand, right-hand combination. How much experience Jack Carty has in this format of the game at this level, but it's all ahead of us. Andrew McBride bowling to 5-4 offside field. Most of the protection, square of the wicket, extra cover was sneaking in on the angle. I think part of that is to do with the artificial surface in front.
Just an inside edge. Alan, what did you think of Andrew White's thoughts? We might chat about this after the over a spin because McBride's so quick in between the over. So let's save that for just a few deliveries. Flat again. Carty gets off the mark into the offside. Great volunteering effort today. Pembroke Cricket Club. Lots of club members and Cricket Leinster volunteers helping out, getting the side screens moved for us.
Of course, no such trouble at the other end. The gantry, of course, where our cameramen are. Do a stellar job.
Yeah, that one just going out to one of the two fielders. Our camera that was being used for the Andrew White chat, just setting up. Ger getting ready to track the ball. Heavy workload at the moment for the men dragging the screen.
Glad it's light, but they're doing a good job down there.
Hit into the leg side and going to be work to do for big Craig Young, who's right out there towards the railway side of the ground. He'll tidy up. Carty taking a slightly more aggressive approach today to the one that we saw him struggle a little yesterday.
Well, I think it'll be interesting with licence what he does.
Beautifully bowled. Inside edge, so nearly rolling back onto the stumps. He's a brilliant operator, Andy McBride. A good start from him. Effective. As always, 5 runs coming from the first over. It's 5 for none. Yeah, that chat with Andy White, Alan, saying that we're perhaps not going to see any huge surprises in any squads coming up, saying that, you know, the players that are showing promise at this interprovincial level haven't necessarily done it against the higher quality of bowling. I asked him about the power hitting. I thought we might see, you know, 3 or 4 guys catapulted into the squad at the T20I level. He seemed to probably indicate it'll be more of the tried and tested guys at Irish level. Would you like to see maybe something a little different in the T20 format in particular?
Well, I'd certainly like to see a wee bit of freshness. You know, this is the level below. This is what has been created by Cricket Ireland.
Craig Young to open the bowling from the Wilfield Road end. Starts with a real sharp delivery. Surprised PJ Moore with the pace and bounce. I think it thuds into his stomach, really. Very meaty sound.
Caught him on the right forearm as well. He was looking at that, and we'll have a look and see now. Yeah, just a little bit on the forearm there from PJ Moore. Strange type of shot, I have to say, from PJ Moore.
I think luckily it's the part of the forearm with a little bit of muscle.
Flesh.
Yeah, a little bit of flesh on it. Probably muscle, knowing the strength of Zimbabwean PJ Moore. Pulled into the deep, just short of Nathan Maguire. Catch it was the cry just for a moment, but Carty didn't get enough of it. Bounces in front of the deep square leg fielder.
Of course, you would expect with Jack Carty's Australian background, he'd be very comfortable on that shot. Had time. And luckily kept it away from Nathan Maguire out in the deep square leg boundary.
It's a lovely drive. William Porterfield gets around. He gets through for the single.
Good strong shot that from PJ Moore. Again, no need for major histrionics at this stage. Just establish a base. Keep the momentum going. That'll be the most important thing. In terms of totals, not that challenging a total. They just need to gain some momentum, and that will be momentum because that's going to go all the way for 6 from Jack Carty. And he was onto that like a light. And it just crept over Nathan Maguire there in the deep square leg boundary. And this is a good start from the Munster Reds.
Yeah, it's more like it from Carty. Trying to take advantage of the power play where just 2 fielders are allowed outside the circle. He's only just got it over the head of one of those 2 fielders. Deep square leg in place and third man in place. Just a little too short from Craig Young. Well picked up by the left-hander. Going to try and repeat the dose. And he is. He's going to soar that one high and handsome into the trees. That's a much more impressive shot. Back-to-back 6s. The Reds are going to go about it the way the Warriors went about it yesterday. New balls, please.
Well, that probably wasn't very clever bowling, and we saw earlier on in the piece from Aaron Cawley the value of just concentrating on top of off stump. And I would suggest to Craig Young, not really the place to bowl to Jack Carty. He looked very comfortable on the pull shot there, and that went even further distance. And the first one, as you say, new balls, please.
Yeah, Kevin Gallagher's had to go and get the box of kookaburras. It's a difficult one to replace because it's only 1.5 overs old. So Rowley Black not happy with the first bunch, and he's saying, Kevin, going to have to go to a slightly newer one because the ball only 11 deliveries old. Craig Young is going to get a look at that. He's happy enough with that one, but he's not happy with the fact he's been pongoed for 2 back-to-back 6s.
Well, I'll tell you who will be happy. That Munster tent will be very happy. It's a great start from them.
Slower ball and he's chopped it on. Carty has given it away. He's hit 2 big 6s and the change up from Young has worked. It was an off cutter, I think, and it's come off the inside edge and Cannon back into the stumps, Alan.
Yeah, that was needed, and it exactly did that, and probably just stayed a shade low on Jack Carty, but he's dragged it back onto his middle stump, and he'll be very disappointed with that because it was such a good start from the Munster Reds. 20 coming from the first 2 overs, of which Carty got 16 of them from his 8 deliveries faced. But you kind of sense this most probably will be the key partnership. Murray Cummins, the man in form for the Munster Reds, as he has been all season. Stylish left-hander, very good player. And of course, we've got to also say to ourselves here, when Tyrone Kane left the field, Andrew, they decided that they'd jointly captain the side. So they can chat about things all they like now together.
The Reds' brain trust in action. Graham Ford has moved to the far side of the sight screen. Doesn't want to be down over long off for the left-handers. Thinks he might have to go fetch a few more balls, so he's stationed himself now at what is long off for the right-handers. Such an avid watcher of the game, taking all his notes there. Graham Hume to replace McBride. He gets driven through the offside, but straight to William McClintock. Yeah, that kind of an innings from Carty. 16 off 8, that's not a bad thing at the top.
Certainly not. I think when you can work to a strike rate of that, it's infinitely more valuable than 22 off 20. Done a job. You've got your team going.
That one comes off the under edge. They'll get through for a single. No timing for Moore. PJ Moore has just taken a little while to get going in his second coming to Irish cricket. He's played some club cricket here prior, then went back to Zimbabwe. Represented them with great pride, but it goes to show the standard of cricket here certainly formidable. If PJ Moore, a guy who's played a lot of Test cricket, struggling.
Yeah, we've had a number of overseas players, and again, sometimes you can look at your own cricket and ask yourself questions. But a number have come. I can think of Trent Copeland went on to play for Australia. Ben Dunk.
Big appeal. Graham Hume is convinced. And Alan Neil is not. And what was really interesting for me there, you could see his arms just part. He's about to signal wide. He's decided against signalling wide. Now Murray Cummins is saying to him, why isn't it a wide? I haven't touched it. Or has he?
I don't think he has. I think it's kind of clipped his hip there on the way through. Certainly didn't look to hit any sort of bat for me. And maybe that's exactly what Alan Neil feels.
Might have just come off the hip. If it has come off the hip, that's a hell of a decision from Alan Neil. We don't have the DRS here on the live stream, but Graham Hume was convinced. You heard the yelp of delight as Donny clung on behind the stumps. Nearly another strangle down the leg side. This time it will be signalled wide. Terrible way to get out that on as a batsman, isn't it? Strangled down the leg side.
Awful. And that delivery very well tidied up by Stephen Doheney there behind the stumps. That awful one just bouncing in front of you with the gloves on.
Have some news, Alan. Breaking news. The Wasp is back. It's been missing in action for 3.5 games. I don't know what's happened. It's come back to life and it's saying 87% the Reds are coasting to victory. Is it right?
Not right well, certainly looking at it at this stage, yes, you might say so, but there's a lot of cricket to be played here, as we know.
So the Wasp is wrong, Alan?
No, the Wasp is right at this stage in terms of the position that Munster Reds are in, but it's far too early to be making... it's down to 86, Andrew. One ball.
Great to have it back. I don't know what happened for the first 3.5 games. I was wondering.
It just disappeared on us.
I think it was on strike. The Wasp was gone, but it's back. Target 147. Hopefully we're going to have a cracker. Game 4 of 6 this weekend here at Pembroke Cricket Club in the IP20. Down the leg side, that one is edged. If that one went through to the keeper, it clearly would have been out, but it's gone to the right of Doheney. Not a good line, this from Hume. And punished for 4 by Murray Cummins.
Yeah, lovely leg glance. He's very good off his hip. We've seen that throughout this series, Murray Cummins, and he just did well to get actually bat on that, Andrew. But he steered it away for 4.
Hume not finding his line though, Alan.
No, not finding his line at all. And he's not happy. The old teapot. And as a result, he's coming round the wicket. He wants to have a look at off stump. But he's getting the ball to swing, Andrew.
Graham Ford is now helping with the side screen. He's doing it all today.
Doing a William Porterfield.
Down the track, inside edge. Graham Hume cannot believe it. He is disgusted. Get the camera back on him. This is an unhappy fast bowler right here, walking back to his mark.
Well, understandably so. He felt he had won that war, and just an inside edge, and it goes very quickly to fine leg for 4. So it takes the Munster Reds to 30. Nothing tentative about what they're looking to do right here. And I would sense they're going to keep it much of the same. They're going to keep attacking. They're going to keep going. They won't want to be taking this down to a nail biter into the last over. You could get that sense.
No, and it's been a really good attacking approach. Obviously, fortune there a couple of times in that over for Murray Cummins, but at least there's intent. You'd much rather see a guy getting out trying to hit a boundary. It's brought about another change because Andy McBride needs to grab the ball back. That's what he's done. Change of ends for him. He's coming in from the Willfield Road end. And PJ Moore has skied that into the air. He continues to struggle in the IP20. That is not a good shot. Flat from McBride. Not even celebrations from the Northwest skipper. Moore goes for 5. He's been done. All ends up by the off spin of Andy McBride.
No, not a very good shot this from PJ Moore. Far too full really to be looking to pull, and he's just skewed the simplest of catches to Jared Wilson, who's having a very good day at the office, has to be said.
He's fuming. Really is PJ Moore. 78 appearances for Zimbabwe, 8 test matches, 49 ODIs, 21 T20Is, but he's perished. He's gone for 5. He just hasn't been able to find his form in his move up here to Ireland. A best of just 35 so far this season in either the 50 over cricket or this now the T20. And the game changes again. Fionn Hand's going to come in up the order, and the reason he's up the order, Tyrone Kane, remember, injured in the first over of the bowling effort, Alan. We're going to try and find out, will he bat?
Is it the other part of this? Is it a statement of intent? We don't have Matt Ford coming in at this point. As Ted Williamson said, Fionn, we saw you last Tuesday with potentially one of the quickest 50 over 50s. Let's have more of the same. Let's see.
Yeah, I suppose this change in the order has been forced upon Ted Williamson, the Munster Reds head coach. I just wonder, will we see Tyrone Kane bat at all? We'll try and get an update from the Munster Reds camp on that. But are the Munster Reds perhaps trying to match the Northwest Warriors at their own game? This real aggressive, dynamic approach that we saw from them yesterday, trying to outdo them.
I sense that. You know, they certainly won't want to go down in a whimper. And again, it's certainly the way forward in T20 cricket. There's no doubt about that. And certainly that's been the message we've got so far. Into the fourth over, 31 already, but the loss of 2 wickets more crucial.
Hit into the offside, and Craig Young with half a stop almost creates a run-out chance as Murray Cummins hits that strongly into the offside and get through for a single. Fionn Hand works it nicely into the leg side. Hand is the kind of guy you just want in your squad, isn't he?
Yeah, he's nothing other than 110% effort as he begins to understand what his game really is. And again, another good over from the ever-reliable Andrew McBride. Flat. Only 3 from it in the wicket of PJ Moore. And that's good from him.
He's some operator, Andy McBride. He really is outstanding. This is game 4 of the Cricket Ireland IP T20 series. The first of 3 festivals. The first one here is in Dublin. We've had glorious weather. It's just clouding over a touch. Getting a little bit chillier. Like foolishly taking the jumper off for that chat with Andrew White. It's had to go back on now, Alan. Game 4, Andrew Leonard here with Alan Lewis. The two of us bringing you through every single ball of this second game of the day.
Hard work, Andrew.
Never hard with you, mate.
No, certainly not. From that point of view, no. Could talk to you all day, Andrew Leonard.
Hard work for the side screen attendants. Sean O'Rian and I think McDara Cosgrave, 2 of the young players from the Pembroke club here. Just work down to third man. That's going to be a single. Fionn Hand is going to try and take this opportunity with both hands up the order, isn't he?
Absolutely. It's a great opportunity for him. He's had a good game so far. 4 overs, 2 for 26. And Hume mixing it up now. Coming round the wicket. Struggled a bit with his line to Murray Cummins. Wide. Tickled off his hip for 4.
Feels like the sight screen moving every delivery at the moment with all the singles. 2 overs remain in this power play. Won't want to lose a 3rd wicket, the Reds. Sight screen's going to need to keep moving because even if Craig Young directs it, which he does, with a good throw, they'll get through for the single.
Yeah. Settled down a bit more now since he's come around the wicket. Murray Cummins just getting that natural in drift. Great bit of fielding from Craig Young. Hitting the stumps. Murray Cummins feeling that.
So a great shot there of Graham Ford. What's he watching for? What's he looking for from this series?
Well, what he's watching for, or what he should be watching for, is contenders or people. You spoke with Andrew White of, things being much the same, but when you're evolving as a cricket nation, you're looking for fresh talent. Who are going to be the players that can do things for you in this T20 format, this ever-changing T20 format.
Yeah, I think what I'd love to see is a new approach, really, kind of an invigorated approach, a reinvigorated approach, potentially. We've seen Kevin O'Brien and Paul Sterling up at the top of the order in T20 cricket, completely change the game for Ireland. Magnificent opening partnership in the T20 format that's really revolutionised the way we've played over the last couple of years. But where are the other power hitters coming from down the order?
The other one, we only have to go back to the West Indies. Gareth Delaney, obviously injured at the moment, but he hit the international stage in T20 cricket. Some stellar performances, some blows out in the West Indies that went many a mile. And again, it was so refreshing. If I was asked the question, probably 2 years to Gareth making his debut, would I have thought he'd have been in that side? I would have said probably no, but just as the game evolved, and he's a power hitter, and it's exactly what's needed.
Fionn Hand using his feet down the track, gets beaten by Hume. A really good over, just 2 runs coming from it. The Warriors coming back into it. 5 overs gone, it's 35 for 2. Yeah, those power hitters we keep talking about, the reason we keep talking about them is the evolution of the T20 game as we watch Hume beat Hand through to Doheny. We have to surely think about guys who can clear the rope at numbers 5, 6 and 7 in the order.
Well, again, we've posed these types of questions to ourselves. I don't know what you're reckoning. You watch a lot of cricket, watch a huge amount of Irish cricket, and who are the players that might stand out for you as chances that Graham Ford might be thinking could get a tick?
Well, what I would love to see is a different approach from our ODI side. Our Curtis Camphor in the middle order, is he a good option in T20 cricket? Maybe not. Are we better with Shane Getgate at 5, who's got the ability to hit it out of the ground on whatever field he's playing on? Are we going to back the adventure of the potential of scoring over 200 in our 20 overs? Because that's what we're going to have to do to be competitive against these top nations at the T20 World Cup. I'd love to see a leg spinner into the team. We've seen Gareth Delaney fulfil that role. That one's hit into the leg side. William McClintock does good work. We'll cut off the boundary. But when Gareth Delaney was into the team, he was really picked as a batter who bowled a bit of leg spin. We haven't picked a frontline leg spinner in an awfully long time.
Well, you got very excited today about Ben White. You think he's a real candidate who could push to get into the side on his own merit as a leg spinner.
Pick him. Play him against South Africa. 3 T20Is. What have you got to lose? Those games have no consequence apart from finding out whether someone's good enough for the T20 World Cup. The ODIs have huge consequence. I understand the importance of them. That's a glorious shot. Just stood high up on top of the bounce, up on his tippy toes. Thuds into the closed up Leinster Lightning tent. There's going to be work to do to find that one. That's a lovely shot, Alan.
Well, you might want to get in under it. What a class shot that is. Sped away to the boundary. And with every innings that goes by, Murray Cummins is looking better and better.
And he's putting his name really in the ring for ODI selection if and when he qualifies. Exactly, we'll have to check that for you. But yeah, Ben White, pick him. Put him in the team against South Africa. What have we got to lose? What are we going to do but learn more about a young cricketer who we've identified with talent? He's committed fully to the game. He's gone up the road to Belfast. 18 months ago, he wasn't even near an Interpro side. He's now gone on an Irish Wolves tour. He's really impressed. 3 wickets today. Arguably unlucky to miss out on the player of the match. Pick him.
And in terms of the hitting department, who would be the candidates that you might like to see in a squad for that South African T20 series?
Well, Nathan Maguire really set the pulses racing yesterday, 18 years of age. That one keeping a little lower, beating the attempted pull shot. Craig Young stares back at the pitch for a moment. But yeah, I think Shane Getgate really deserves his chance in that engine room. I'd love to see a few other players put their hands up. Can someone like William McClintock put his hand up? Jamie Garassi, who's going to do it over the course of the next couple of weeks? Because 2 or 3 good performances at this level, they've shown before the selectors will give you that chance.
Well, I think if they are going to give someone the chance, it must be over the course of 3 games. There's no point in being in and out. As you say, the one area that they can experiment, completely agree with you. They've got to try and do what they feel is the best for themselves in that South Africa series, of course. Ireland winning 1 game against Holland, but beating the world champions, that's probably what makes those 2 other results in the Netherlands so disappointing.
And the man who's just fielding the ball now and is going to try and shy down the stumps is Graham Kennedy. He's another one, a young cricketer who's full of talent. Might we see his left arm spin in and around the mix? He was one of the 4 reserves who travelled to the Netherlands. Is essentially operated as net bowlers. I think his game has come on hugely in the last 12 months.
Yeah, it's going to be real interesting in the sense, probably depending on the shape of the side. Obviously, Ben White and him taking the ball away from the right-hander. I don't see a
direct hit, and it is given not out. Craig Young was convinced. I think he was the one closest to it. But the man at backward point, interestingly, Nathan Maguire, would have had the best view of the lot. Not a big appeal. So I think this could be a very good decision. Let's take a look, Alan.
wee bit half-hearted the appeal. Oh, the question was his bat sliding in or did he place it in? We saw that, interestingly enough, again in the Holland-Ireland series. But maybe the fact that Nathan Maguire, who was in the best position, had no interest, tells its own story.
You know, the wonderful thing about technology these days, you can do this at home yourself. If you want watching on the YouTube stream, press the settings button, slow it down to a quarter speed. He's safely home. Good decision.
I like your work, Andrew Leonard. All elements of equipment are here. Brought to us by Andrew himself, but it was clear the bat was placed down in time.
Power play's over. 43 for 2. McBride back on. Oh, sharp turn. It's going to be 5 to the total. I'm pretty sure there's nothing on this, Alan. Let's wait for the umpire, Alan Neil, to confirm it is 5 freebies for the Munster Reds. Just what they needed. Watch the run rate required. Flip with the run rate just like that. It's only 7 and over now to win.
You just wonder, that turned quite sharply. It really did. Probably pitched. We're quite blocked from Stephen Doheny.
Yeah, hit into the deep by Fionn Hand, who is not quite being fluent with the bat yet, but he's staying there. It's just supporting Murray Cummins.
Well, the run rate required isn't taxing. Going at almost 8s now, only 7 required, so there's no need for panic.
Our friend Wasp has gone missing again, Alan. Where's he at now, do you reckon?
I'd say he's at 90. I would say certainly 88, 89, 90 would be my feel.
Good work by Graham Kennedy. Picks up cleanly, gets it into Stephen Doheny. Half an appeal. Rowley Black unmoved. Fionn Hand is quick.
Even better work from Fionn Hand there. Calling Murray Cummins through. When that ball is hit late square on the leg side, there's nearly always one there, Andrew, because you're just not sure when you're in that type of position as the fielder where the ball may go, and you're kind of stuck planted, and that's good work from Fionn Hand.
All of a sudden it's just got very cold in Pembroke. I don't know where from. The sun has disappeared. The shout is catch from Andy McBride. And if you want a synopsis of what William Porterfield brings you to your team, you have it there in just a couple of seconds. Sprinting full length to his left, diving, putting his body on the line, cutting off what was a certain single.
How canny a bowler is Andrew McBride? That's brilliant. Obviously that first delivery turn sharply. We'll go against his analysis, but he's so clever. Again, that change of pace, that little bit more air, that little bit more dip.
Beautiful bowler to watch, Andy McBride. He's trying to fight his way into the T20 team, of course. Very regular selection in the ODI side, but played a little bit less in the T20 stuff. Flatter this time. Brilliant from McBride. If you take away those 5 wides, just the 3 singles from the over, 7 overs gone. This game is in the balance. Score is 51 for 2.
Any sign of Wasp, Andrew?
Well, Wasp has gone missing, but the good news is, Alan, you can go and find it.
Well,
Because we're going to have a little bit of a change in the commentary box. I felt you needed a break, and maybe you might go find a beverage. I've got a special guest coming in to join me now.
I certainly won't be finding a beverage. I'll be listening to you, Andrew, and I'm sure you're looking forward to speaking to Philip Black, President of Cricket Ireland.
So, delighted to have a special guest for the first time today, giving Alan Lewis some much-needed relief. As he kindly introduced you, Philip Black, the President this year of Cricket Ireland. Not just the President this year, but of course with the mad and crazy times we had, due to be the President of Cricket Ireland just for 2020, I believe. But
That's
due to
right.
COVID, I think common sense was seen, and you've stayed in the role for another 12 months.
That's right, Andrew. Little activity last year. I think I had 2 events. One was the T20 Cup final in Belmont and Belfast between YM and Donnamana, and the second event was the Interpros at the end of September, which was wonderful weather actually. So that was the extent of it. And since then, it's been just one cancellation after another. We were supposed to go to Dubai in January, and that didn't happen. And then Zimbabwe at the end of March, April, that didn't happen either. And then Holland last week or 2 weeks ago was unable to make the trip because they were in stage 2. So it's just been one cancellation after another.
Were you happy to extend the role though, and be able to come back and perform the role fully and properly? Big appeal. I heard 2 noises, Philip, so that's the reason that's going to be given, not out. Fiona, just making sure the umpire knows the inside edge is what saved him.
Yeah.
You have a fine cricket brain, Philip. Do you think that would have been out if he didn't get an inside edge on that?
Well, I think as a bowler, it was probably going down leg.
I tell you, that would have looked very close. The inside edge definitely saving Fiona Hand, who just taking a while, 6 off 15 at the moment. Beats the attempted slash through the offside. The role of President for Cricket Ireland, a really important one. It's much more than just a ceremonial one.
Well, I think it's largely ceremony, meeting and greeting, and you know there's been no events of note, so there's been no requirement to sort of attend dinners or functions. So you know that hasn't happened, and it's probably not unlikely to during the rest of this year.
Driven into the offside by Hand. He's going to get off strike, bring Murray Cummins back onto strike. The times that we live in are hopefully starting to change. You see a return to normal. We've had some great club cricket to start the season in the north of Ireland, and a return to the club game now in the south as well.
Yeah, we in the north of Ireland last week we had the first 50 over game, and that was the first 50 over game I've seen in 2 years. So and that was great actually. We played my club is Civil Service North, and we played CI, and it was a close contest. CI won by 2 wickets. So you know, it was good to see. I think you get tired of T20 at the end of the day. It's
and for the viewers at home, when you say we, your home club?
Civil Service North, yeah. It's Stormont, yeah.
And they're a very fine club. They've been prospering, I think, in the T20 stuff as well. Lots of stars in that 11. Gary Wilson doing some coaching there?
He's captain of the club, and he's had a couple of good innings. He pulled a hamstring in the final of the T20 against Carrick.
That's a glorious shot from Fionn Hand. He
That's a
really has
wonderful
not
shot.
found his range just yet, but that is overpitched by Jared Wilson. You can't bowl there at the pace that Wilson operates at. A real half volley powered by Fionn Hand. How good a shot is this?
Yeah. It's right off the meat of the bat, and probably the shot of the day, actually, I would have thought.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that at all. The Interpro festivals have been a real success in recent times. This is the first of the season. This one comes off an underedge. Hand's going to get back-to-back boundaries. Not as impressive this time. He's not going to mind, though. Crucial runs for the Reds coming. Wilson shakes his head in disbelief. 8 overs gone. The score 61 for 2. But not just these festivals, Philip. The 50-over game has really profited from the addition of the fourth side in Munster, and the whole Interpro season's been a really good one, I think it's fair to say.
I think so. That game in the Mardyke during the week, 290, I think, Munster got, and Northwest chased it, and that's 600 runs in a day. That's great entertainment value for spectators.
Presume you're watching on the live stream, Philip, were you? You can lie on air, it's fine. I won't hold you to it.
Well, I wasn't even aware the game was on until my wife was speaking to her sister-in-law in Cork, who plays tennis at Sundays well, and she says there's an awful lot of scaffolding up at the Mardyke. And so Helen then said to me, was there cricket at the Mardyke? And I said, I'm not aware there was. So
we're going to have to get you onto social media, I think, Philip, get you following the Cricket Ireland updates. Change in bowling here. Graham Kennedy to come into the attack with his left arm spin. The game's predominantly been very competitive, though, and I think that's been a real credit to the organisation, Cricket Ireland, in the way they've spread their players about in recent times, bolstering up the Munster Reds team.
I think so. That it badly needed to be competitive because Leinster were dominating, and that's been shown now. I think this T20 tournament here, the fact the Knights beat Leinster, means, and if Munster were to beat the Northwest, then everybody goes into tomorrow's game with a chance of winning. So that's got to be good for the spectators and the game.
I'm not sure you could have predicted that overnight. The Warriors and Leinster so dominant yesterday, but right now, Munster Reds are on top, 61 for 2 after 8. That required run rate, just keep an eye on that at the bottom of your screen. About 7 and over. These overs from Kennedy are going to be crucial. New to left arm spin. Cummins immediately tries to go down the track. Is that going to get all the way to the long on fielder? It is not. That's Graham Hume out in the deep. Your role as president of Cricket Ireland will continue for this year. The highlights of the summer are going to be the visits of South Africa and Zimbabwe for the men's side. That's right.
Yeah, South Africa are here for 3 ODIs and then 3 T20s in July, and then that's followed in August by Zimbabwe. And I'm not sure exactly what the structure of the Zim. I think it's ODIs and T20s again.
Correct.
So there's at least we can look forward to that. The spectator numbers, I think Cricket Ireland are waiting for confirmation from government as to what the number of spectators will be at the games.
And of course the dual jurisdictions, we've got internationals, initially South Africa coming to Malahide in Dublin. Correct. And they'll travel up north to host a couple of T20s at Stormont, and then the Zimbabwe series will have some of the ODIs at Stormont and then move across to Breedy in the northwest. So
that's right,
the primary 3 unions, internationals and all of them, that's great to see.
Yeah, I think it's all about spreading the word, and hopefully spectators will be able to attend. But the events were supposed to start next week in the north, and I was supposed to go to an event on Monday afternoon, and it's now been cancelled. The Stormont have put back by 2 to 3 weeks.
That's hit down the ground. Murray Cummins has hit that straight as a die. It's gone over the side screen. That's how big a hit that is. We saw this yesterday. Kennedy was pumped down the ground for a 6, and the next delivery he came back and got the wicket. The big wicket of James McCollum. Can he do the same thing? That's a glorious shot from Murray Cummins. He's been the Munster Reds' leading run scorer this year. Will he go slower through the air again? He's going to go flatter and be hammered into the deep. Really stylish batsman, Murray Cummins, Philip.
Yeah, that was a fine strike for 6. Straight as a die.
The club game is something Cricket Ireland's trying to have more and more of a focus on in recent times as well. Do you see your role extending out into the clubs, getting around the grounds?
Well, I'm not sure at this stage. I think the underage national competitions hopefully will go ahead. The Irish Senior Cup's not going ahead and the National Cup's not going ahead, so that's unfortunate, but hopefully the youth tournaments
That's the big wicket. Graham Kennedy has continued to impress with his left arm spin. He's found the outside edge of Fionn Hand's bat, who, much credit to him, has walked immediately, has not waited for the umpire's decision. It's a really good catch from behind the stumps from Stephen Doheney. Superb bowling. That's the breakthrough the Warriors needed. A great catch. We saw a brilliant one from Lorcan Tucker earlier on, and a great celebration as well from Stephen Doheney. That's great cricket all around. And a key breakthrough has thrown the game right back into the balance.
Very much so, yeah. It could go either way, this match, and 76 needed off 11 and a bit.
Let me just ask you about another topic, a sad topic. We were all really beyond gutted, everyone in the Irish cricket community here, the death of the great Roy Torrens. We lost earlier in the year, but on a positive note, we have a celebration of his life coming up later in the summer on Sunday the 4th of July. I think he would have absolutely loved this day. We're going to see a team of internationals turn out, all of whom have played more than 100 times for Ireland, the likes of William Porterfield, Andy Balbirnie, and past players, the likes of Ed Joyce, Kyle McCallan, Gary Wilson, Andre Botha, John Mooney, Niall O'Brien, Peter Gillespie, absolute legends. They're going to play against the Northwest 11. Are you going to be there? How special a day will that be?
Yes, hopefully we'll travel up for that. And I think, in fact, Roy, I think, was president of Brigade, and he intended to organise something this summer along those lines. So it's just so sad that he's not going to be there to witness. He'll be looking down and watching it from above. So yeah, what a legend of Irish cricket Roy is.
Quite literal giant of a man.
Yeah,
get into the attack here. And that tribute game will be played at Brigade, where, as you said, he was indeed such a iconic member. Sunday the 4th of July, 2 o'clock at T20. It's going to be a Brigade Select 11 they'll play against.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will be played in the style, the grace and the humour that Roy would have loved to have seen.
Absolutely. He was larger than life character, and life and soul of any event that he was attended. And the first time I played against him in Interpro back in the 70s. But I didn't really come across him until I went to Guyana in 2007, when Ireland qualified for the second stage after beating Pakistan and Jamaica. And Roy was manager, obviously, of the Irish team at that time, and we were in the same hotel, and every night was a great event, because Roy had fondest stories to tell, and he always took his time about telling them. So
was every night a party in Roy's presence?
Well, it was. It was just there was only John Wright, myself, and Roy Torrens, and Ian Callender would then come down and join us later on to put right all the misrepresentations that Roy had made in the course of the stories.
Could I ask you something? Having played against Roy Torrens, was he as fast and as fearsome with the ball in hand as he always claims he was?
Funny enough, I don't remember Roy's. I played for South Leinster against Northwest, and we actually thrashed them that day at Sign Mills, but Ian Lewis, Alan's father, got 70 that day, and he won the game for us. So it was Roy didn't feature for whatever reason.
In whatever way you remember, but his memory is going to be given a great tribute to with that game just in a couple of weeks' time. Before then, up in the Northwest, we've got the second of the two T20 festivals, the IP20 festivals. We'll have 6 games again in Breedy inside 3 days, and it's a real wealth of the shortest format over the coming weeks, building up to a big international summer. The game right in the balance here, about 7 and over required. It would be a big win this for Munster, it really would, wouldn't it?
I think it'd be so good for the game as well, for this series. And if every team went in with one win to tomorrow's games, then everything's at stake.
Yeah, let's look forward at the end of this delivery. We'll get to the halfway stage. I just want to talk to you a little bit about the T20 World Cup later in the year. Again, you've described very well just the difficulties with your tenure as president, with so many cancellations. Decade into Cummins, heaved into the deep And that might have gone all the way. It has indeed. It's just crept over the rope. Not a good delivery at all from Shane Getgate. We wondered, would they look for another seamer? A few overs from Getgate. A real drag down from him. And the form Murray Cummins is in. He's punished that all the way for 6. A good shot. Wide of the man out at deep backward square leg. That T20 World Cup also postponed from 2020 to 2021. We could well see that moved to the UAE. Do you think Ireland can go over and upset the apple cart, get through to the Super 12 stages? And
well, I think 2020 can be a lottery, and but our record at 2020, Ireland's record is not impressive. We've a lot of changes over the last number of years in the side. So it's a question of the young guys, taking charge and producing an upset. But we've struggled at T20 just over the last couple of years. So
but qualifying for a World Cup, getting through that qualifier in late 2019. As Kennedy continues to forward. It'd be great to see Ireland back on the global stage, though, of course, missing out on qualification in 2019 for the 50 over World Cup, but back on the global stage later in the year.
Yeah. I think it's so important for the game, and it'd be great if we could travel. And as you say, it's going to be in Dubai as opposed to India, so there's more chance of us being able to travel, I think. But we'll see.
Yeah, that decision not completely finalised, looking very likely. I think the ICC have already announced they're exploring their options. Right. May not just be in the UAE. We may see one of the preliminary groups perhaps in Oman. There's been some talk of the great facilities there in Muscat. Ireland have an experience out there. Hit into the deep. Look at the power from Cummins. His game continues to evolve. 4 more for him. The leading scorer for the Munster Reds is perhaps leading the Reds to victory in what would be the second upset of the day. That Irish T20 World Cup will have a group of 4. And we'll have to finish in the top 2 to get through to a Super 12 stage, where we'd have 5 guaranteed games against the Test Nations. How big a deal would that be for Irish cricket?
That is huge, because it's the monetary gain you get from playing in the big tournaments, T20, ODIs, World Cups. It's so important for Ireland to qualify for those tournaments for us to progress.
And is it the exposure as well globally on the TV stage, the hundreds of millions of people watching on from the subcontinent and Australia and South Africa?
Yeah. Well, you've got to remember that cricket is the second biggest spectator sport after football. So it's hard to believe. In Ireland it's a minority sport, but on the world stage it's colossal.
Yeah, interesting you say that. Absolutely still a minority sport at the moment, a developing sport here in Ireland. That one down the leg side. Stephen Doherty can't get a glove on it. The second 5 wides of the innings. Northwest Warriors don't have enough runs on the board to be affording that. But a new strategic plan launched earlier in the year by Cricket Ireland, creating a cricket island. Do you think the sport can continue to grow in popularity?
Absolutely. The more development officers we have, north, south, east and west, they've got to just take the game to all parts, and you'll find the new talent in the most unlikely places as well. So we've got to sort of diversify, and we can't just concentrate and leave it on the east coast. We've got to look further afield.
Create that cricket island that Cricket Ireland are attempting to do.
Yeah.
Kennedy a little slower through the air this time, hit into the offside protection out there in the deep. It's got a little colder here. I'm talking with the Cricket Ireland president, Philip Black, Andrew Leonard in the commentary position. And the Munster Reds looking to make it, as you said, Philip, all 4 sides with 1 win apiece going into the final day of the first festival here.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that Munster get these runs quickly, because the temperature is plummeting.
We'll let you get back to your nice hot toddy on the wall in due course in just a couple of hours. We'll keep you for 2 or 3 more overs, Philip. Murray Cummins gets that one down the ground. Wickets in hand. 7, just less than a run of ball now, so the required run rate well in hand. The visits of South Africa and Zimbabwe will be big for the Irish summer, the home summer, but it's not just the men's game, the women's game. It was great to have Scotland over, the first internationals on this island for nearly 2 years up there in Stormont.
No, that was really encouraging to see the women at Stormont. 2 years since they'd played, and having lost the first game, we were all in trepidation, but they made a strong recovery and won the series 3-1. And that was great to see, and it was so important for the women's game because a dearth of international cricket. So I'm not sure what their next international occasion is.
Just Richard Holdsworth actually let us in on some news there earlier in the day during our chat in between the innings in Game 1 and Game 3 of the series, and there will be another international series with I think a side coming into Ireland later in July, which is going to be really good to see. He couldn't reveal to us who that is yet, but they'll also have a couple of fixtures over against the Northwest Thunder in Manchester. That's in a couple of weeks' time, and they're going to get to play at Old Trafford.
Very good, very good. Yeah, there's been a bit of cricket this week on television. We had England are playing India, I think, at the moment, and down in Bristol. So they're playing a test match, actually, I think, at the moment, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, the first women's test match in an awfully long time.
Yeah.
And that match was drawn. Really entertaining affair. Of course, the World Test Championship final getting going. India 140 odd for 3 against New Zealand, washed out day 1. We have the 6th day to work with there, just in case of rain. Is that something you'd love to see for Ireland? We're a test nation now. I haven't played a test in a long time.
It is, yeah. It's the issue about test cricket for Ireland is the cost of putting on, particularly at home. I think we'd be more prepared to play away from home than we would to host a test, because just the costs are so significant. I think if we're serious about being a full member, we've got to make a commitment to test cricket. And I think Pakistan are keen for us to travel to.
Is that something you'd like to see?
I do. It's a country I'd love to visit. I've never been. You need a reason to visit a country, and cricket is a great reason.
You've travelled quite a bit all over the world prior to your presidency. You've been on cricketing tours over to the Netherlands, some other places. Tell us where you've been.
When I was playing the game, mostly it was English grounds, and a lot down in Sussex and Shropshire.
But then, as a fan, out with the Irish team in 2007 at the World Cup.
Yeah, I first went to Zimbabwe for a Tri-Nations in about 2000, and I went to actually with Stan Mitchell, who was former president of Cricket Ireland, and we went, and then we went to Johannesburg for another sort of 4 or 5 nation tournament. That was a great experience. That was about early noughties, that was. And then I wasn't able to go to Jamaica, but as I said before, I was in Guyana for the second part of that World Cup.
Did you get up to Kaichor Falls?
I did. Yeah, we flew up. I actually flew up with the Irish team.
Seen some of the imagery of that. It looks spectacular.
And Trent Johnson was leading the charge. It's the single biggest drop for a waterfall in the world, and the sheer scale of it is.
Yeah, I think it was. A great photo of Big Boyd Rankin up there. I want to ask you a little bit about 2 players in particular as you get to the end of the 12th over. 97 for 3, 50 to win off 48. Good tight over that from Graham Hume, just 2 runs coming from it. The retirements of Boyd Rankin from all international cricket, and Kevin O'Brien yesterday retiring from 50 over cricket. Your thoughts on those 2 players? Yeah,
Boyd's been a tremendous contributor over the years, and he's done 15-16 years, as has Kevin, and the body takes its toll. So Kevin's obviously still making himself available for T20 and Test match cricket, but ODI is just it's tough on the body.
Were you surprised by the news? You're certainly happy to see him continue in the T20 format.
Yeah, I think when you're in your mid-30s, international cricket is very challenging. So it didn't come as a complete surprise that he decided.
Andy McBride back into the attack with his off spin, and that is brilliant batting from Matt Ford. He has played that so late, almost taken out of the gloves of Stephen Doheney. No slip in place. So if he could get enough bat to get it past Doheney, which he did, it was always going to run away for 4. That's a crucial boundary off the most economical bowler the Warriors have. Very clever batting.
Yeah, lovely shot there.
So, Philip, your hopes for the rest of the tenure of your presidency, hopefully a return to crowds on the grounds here in Ireland, and maybe a successful T20 World Cup campaign for the men, and maybe qualification for the women as well.
Yeah, that'd be great to see. There's an Under-19 World Cup. It was originally supposed to be in Ayr, and I believe it may be moving to La Manga in Spain now.
This is the European qualifier you're talking
European
about, where Ireland Under-19s are going to try to get to the main event, which is going to be out in the Caribbean, which wouldn't be the worst trip for the young boys. In January 2022.
But the European qualifier is in early August, but it hasn't been confirmed venue, but they're going to they've got to make a decision very quickly about it.
Yeah, I think that fantastic facility in La Manga could well be used. You could see Andy McBride almost attempting to lunge like a footballer at that one, couldn't get anything on it. So Ford was able to get off strike. That required run rate is well within hand. The Warriors need to find a wicket somehow. Andy McBride only has 2 balls remaining in his spell. He's been frugal as always. Can he twirl one out? Not just yet, just one delivery left for him. Philip, we'll bid you farewell at the end of this over, but any parting thoughts for our listeners all the way around the world?
Well, it'd be just great if we can get spectators back watching the game, because playing cricket in empty grounds is, even for the players particularly, is not great fun. They want to perform in front of an audience, and having spectators there is so important. So, the numbers I think are up to 500 in the north, and I think we're at 100 in Dublin. So let's hope that by the end of the summer we have larger crowds.
Well, we wish you all well in your presidency. It's been a prolonged one, but there's a good reason for it. Well, thank you for your time today, and I'm sure we'll chat to you again later in the summer.
Okay, many thanks, Andrew.
That's great. Philip Black there, the Cricket Ireland president. Great to hear his thoughts, and of course, a really unique presidency, because as he departs and Alan Lewis returns, you could not have predicted what's gone on in the world over the last 12 to 18 months, Alan, could you? And it's affected every aspect of every single person's life.
It's been very difficult at many levels. And, just when you were filled with a diet of COVID every day, it just became very demanding, really.
Yeah, and I thought Philip Black's parting thoughts were really nice ones. Isn't cricket much better when it's played with a nice crowd in attendance, an atmosphere? It's what the players want, it's what the fans want. Craig Young's going to come back into the attack. Can he find a way to break this partnership?
He might, and he has. He has. And Murray Cummins falls, and he is desperately disappointed. It was a very good catch in the end by Nathan McGuire, because that went flat and hard to backward square, and that could just lift
Couldn't
the
have placed
Northwest
it.
Warriors.
Yeah, couldn't have placed it more down his throat, really, Alan. And you can see, watch here, Nathan McGuire. He takes his hand and he goes, God, that one hurt. Powerfully struck, but straight down the throat of Nathan McGuire. Takes a crucial catch. That gives the Northwest Warriors just some hope. Can they find a way back into the game? Remember, we don't think that Tyrone Kane is going to bat, just trying to look across and see. He's got that ankle injury. So it's going to be the 2 Ford brothers at the crease. 2 powerful hitters themselves. 42 to win off 41. Can the Reds get over the line?
That is the question, but that was a beautiful innings from Murray Cummins. Looked in complete control. Lovely on the eye. Real pleasant batsman to watch. Shots all round the ground. But is there a twist? The great Andrew Leonard line. Is there a twist?
I always love when there's a twist, Alan. So, you had a nice break there. I haven't had a break yet. Did you find yourself a beverage over when you went over to the side, Alan?
Certainly did. My daughter said, Lou Dog, you need a little pint of J. So I've settled into half a one just here as I speak to you. Mother's milk. Mother's milk.
Nicely bowled by Craig Young. So the Ford brothers together under the watchful eye of their father, who looks a cold man next to the chairman of selectors, Andrew White. But he's been treated to some really good cricket today. Could
Certainly
be 2
has.
upsets. Just seeing where Wasp has gone, Alan. It's gone missing again. I think it's probably about 70-30 towards the Reds right now. Do you think maybe 80-20?
80-20, I would have thought, Andrew.
Not while Craig Young is bowling like this. Remember, he's got another over after this one. Already found 2 wickets. He was smashed early in his spell. Big left-hander hit him for 2 sixes, but he's got 2 of the left-handers out. He's got Cardy out. And he's got Cummins out. Can he find a way through one of these right-handers now?
And he had the wood on Craig Ford during the week. That steepling delivery caught the glove.
That's where he tries to go. He tries to go short. Graham Hume looks for the shy at the stumps. Andy McBride backs up well. So, wicket, dot, dot, dot. This game is turning.
Well, the interesting bit about it is we might just get the exciting finish you were looking for, Andrew Leonard. But I think the key to it is going to be Matt Ford can be destructive. The question is, will it happen?
Short ball, a little bit too quick. It's signalled as a wide, Alan. Has that not gone in between? Look at Craig Young. He's disgusted with that decision.
I think it might be a wide, Andrew. We'll have a look at it again.
I'm going to be getting my slow motion out on my YouTube, Alan. I'm not sure.
This technology that Andrew Leonard has brought to us today, top of the bus.
Click on your settings on your YouTube player and you can go into your playback speed. Get it all the way down to 0.25. Has this gone over his head, Alan? You can be the judge.
Touch and go, Andrew Leonard, but Craig Ford has got away. He's off the mark.
Very close indeed, but the wide was given. It ruined what could have been a wicket maiden for Craig Young. But the Warriors are fighting. They're scrapping. They're led so well. We've said it several times over the last, not just 48 hours, but all the way back to Tuesday for that IP20 game. Led so well, not just by Andy McBride, the captain, but by Gary Wilson, the coach, by William Porterfield, the fielding coach. And out there in the field, they are going to scrap tooth and nail all the way to the death. Do we have a thriller on our hands?
We will see.
A gasp in the commentary box and in the crowd. An inside edge so nearly. Finds a wicket. Craig Young slaps his thighs in frustration. 14 gone. 108 for 4.
Sorry, excuse me, Andrew. That a great over from Craig Young. And William Porterfield straight in. Give him the tap. Hand tap. Well done. Well done, my friend.
You have to love watching Craig Young operate. He is nothing if not wholehearted and wearing his heart on the sleeve. He's got better at managing his emotions, but you could see how much he cares every delivery. Look at the comparison. 85 for 5, the Warriors. Then came those late runs, those late impressive runs, particularly from McBride. And they're going to go to the left arm spin of Ross Allen, who I think when he was putting on the sun cream thought he was at the MCG down with Merv Hughes. The zinc is on. It's gone freezing cold all of a sudden. No sunshine left.
Well, you've got the jacket, the sweater, beanie, the whole lot's on.
Philip Black couldn't wait to get out of the commentary position. He was that cold.
Absolutely frozen in his Cricket Ireland blazer. Graham Ford now with the hood up at the far end. He's feeling the pinch. This could be a telling over. Matt Ford can be very destructive of slow bowling.
Starts well. Just a low full toss. That's only going to be a single down the ground. Let's take a look at the bowling figures so far. Alan McBride bowled out. Kennedy 11 and over. Wilson 10 and over. This is the 7th bowler used. Getgate went for 12. Who would you be bowling?
Well, it's a question of gamble, really. I'd be bringing back Jared Wilson at some stage. And again, it's just how he mixes things around. A lot will be determined by this over itself. Whether Ross Allen can get any...
I like the move to go to Ross Allen. I think it's the right one.
I think it is the right move. There's no doubt about that.
And I tell you what I'd do. I'd bring on Graham Kennedy behind him. I'd bowl 2 spinners. I'd gamble to try and find the wicket. Hit into the offside. What a stop. That's classic Andy McBride, isn't it? Saving a certain single, body on the line.
The fight is on. 37 from 33.
Moving around his crease, that's heaved high and handsome. It's into the gardens. The gamble of spin has been punished into those beautiful bushes of Park Avenue. That ball is gone all the way for 6.
And that is classic Matt Ford. This is his big area. Look at that, giving himself the levers, moving around the crease. And that's gone many a mile into the trees, as you say, in Park Avenue. It's his go-to shot. And I did say to you before the over commenced, this is the area for Matt Ford. This is where he is so strong, so destructive against slow bowling.
That's all they need. One boundary and over. One boundary and over gets them over the line. And if it's a 6, even better. There's only one over of Craig Young left for the Warriors. But the brilliance of that batting, he took a step outside his leg stump and then a step back into position. It almost catapulted his momentum into that slog sweep right out of the screws. 6 runs.
Well, here's my thought for you, Andrew Leonard. Craig Young has 1 over left. You feel that this partnership has to be broken. No point in waiting. It might have to be the next over.
Down the track, and 2 dots follow up the 6. So Ross Allen's got out of his over well there. Only 8 coming from it. Let's have a look at the batting card. Who's to come? Because Tyrone Kane, we think, probably isn't going to be able to bat. I'm going to see if I can send someone over to the Munster Reds camp to find out, is Tyrone Kane going to bat or not? And who's left in the hutch? Seamus Lynch probably going to be in next.
Seamus Lynch is a very good player and a very good striker of the ball. And I would think he'll be coming in next.
But after that,
really, you're
3 bowlers.
You're into the bunnies, the bowlers at that stage. I haven't seen a huge amount of Josh Manley bat, but I think Seamus Lynch will be coming in next. And you nearly get the sense that the 2 forwards here have to marshal the Munster Reds home if Tyrone Kane is unable to bat.
They are going to go with Craig Young, the final over of the Irish spearhead. And he's going to have to break this partnership. In this over, it's wicket or it's bust for the Warriors.
Well, it's going to make it an extraordinary weekend. Who would have thought coming into the ground today the Leinster Lightning would be beaten and the Northwest Warriors on the verge of being beaten? But it tells us how good this competition has been.
It's a nice drive through the offside. The immediate call is 2-2-2. Remember, it's brothers at the crease. They should have good communication. They do have good communication. They've got good hustle. Maguire was quick to the ball. The throw came in, but it was wide and errant. And Ford gets back for 2.
Well, it was good cricket from Greg Ford because he knew with the angle that Nathan Maguire was coming at, it was going to be difficult for him to throw against his body weight to the wicketkeeper's end. And that's good cricket from Greg Ford.
What a shot that is. Look at the power from Ford. A square drive for 4. Maguire can't cut it off. He's just hit Ireland's premier bowler, Ireland's premier fast bowler for 4 all the way along the ground. Is that the game towards the Munster Reds now?
Well, you can say it as you like. Look at that for the quality of that shot. I really enjoy watching Matt Ford bat. Unorthodox in his stance and backlift, but he gets himself into great positions. And he's a very strong boy. That was a beautiful shot.
Inside edge. Good comeback. The feet didn't go anywhere that time. It's such an interesting technique, isn't it? It's sort of a little bit crabby in his setup, in his stance, a bit reminiscent of that phase Owen Morgan went through. But then when the ball is delivered, he's very still. And as you say, he gets into good positions, Alan, doesn't he? And then the power with which he possesses. He's not necessarily a massive man, but he hits the ball so hard.
Well, he gets into great driving positions because he gets all that body weight into the ball and he gets into great positions. As you say, unorthodox, head moving around. Here we go.
Comes off the outside edge. Agonisingly short of Hume at mid-wicket. Young, despairing. He thought he had his man. The shorter delivery nearly worked the oracle and it's just out of the reach of Graham Hume.
I don't know what he was trying to do there, Matt Ford. Got himself in a cranny. You can see he's angry with himself. And Craig Young in despair. Graham Hume in despair. Andy McBrien clapping and shaking.
Yeah, that score is just again, it's not a single. It was a dot ball there. So we're going to get that corrected for you again. The score now moving to 1-2-4 for 4 at the end of the 16th over. That's the end of Craig Young's spell. He's going to finish with 2 for 34, not 2 for 35. We'll get that corrected. That delivery after the 4 was not a single, Alan. It was a dot.
Absolutely. So 124 for 4 at the end of the 16th.
Yeah, and interestingly, the graphics incorrect at the moment at the bottom of your screen, but the scoreboard is correct. It is 1-2-4 for 4. So 23 to win off the remaining 24 deliveries.
Where is Wasp?
Wasp has gone on strike again. Been errant and missing throughout this T20 festival. I'm not altogether too sure why. Scorer's just getting that corrected for us now. So Jared Wilson, that's where the gamble card goes. They should have gone to a spinner. I think you have to go to a spinner.
Well, obviously, they've possibly said to themselves, Matt Ford is very comfortable against spin. Jared Wilson, he's had the solitary over so far. Had that little cameo towards the end. Maybe he can be the match winner that Andrew McBride is looking to.
Down the track, hit into the offside. I think that is game, set and match, and there's cheers not just of celebration but a little bit of relief from the Munster Reds tent across to our right. Brilliant batting this from Matt Ford. He's doing this almost single-handedly, getting Munster across the line.
Well, largely he's been in great control, and look at that bat speed through the ball. That has literally hit the tents in 2 seconds. Brilliant from Matt Ford. Whenever he scores his runs, look at that equation. 34 from 23.
Yeah, they always come at a good clip. That one thuds into the glove. You can see Wilson saw Ford coming down the track. Such a unique situation this, isn't it? The two Ford brothers batting together. The head coach of Ireland, Graham Ford, their father, watching on from just 60, 70 yards away. Must be a very proud man there.
Very proud. It's going to be interesting. Andrew looking for a player of the match here.
It's only you and I can make the decision. All of our other commentators have gone MIA, missing in action.
I better talk about it.
Slower ball. The trick here for Munster is not to be overly reliant on Matt Ford. Greg Ford's got to come to the party as well. 3 off 7 at the moment. Just has to get a single. That's all he has to do. Pulled into the deep, and he's not just going to get a single, he's going to get a maximum. He was 3 off 7, he's now 9 off 8, and this game is going to be over a lot quicker than you'd think. Munster are hitting their way to victory. They have completely turned things around, just like the Knights did. What a shot this is.
Fantastic shot. That was a long hop, really. Jared Wilson doesn't have the pace. A good piece of work there from Graham Kennedy at backward square. But as you say, 10 required, 19 deliveries remaining. 2 clear upsets here in succession today. This morning, of course, the Knights fighting back.
This is hit down towards third man. It's gone over the head of William McClintock. You thought he was in the game at third man with a catch there. But this game is ending. It's ending in a hurry. 3 sixes in the over. I told you the decision to go to Wilson wasn't the right one. You had to gamble and go with your spinner. They haven't done that. The extra pace on the ball is flowing around the ground. And what you've ended up with is 19 runs from the over. It's all over this. The Munster Reds are going to turn it around, and they're going to give all 4 sides after 2 games a win apiece.
Yeah, and they've been thoroughly deserving of their position here. Munster, 4 acquired from 18 deliveries. And it really has been a great all-round performance from Matt Ford. Open up the day, got through his 4 overs for 22. And again, He's seeing his side home. Masterful 35 not out at this stage from 24 deliveries. Just up the tempo when was required. Really strong shots. And who knows, Murray Cummins also really great tempo in the middle of the innings, just steering the side with shots of beauty.
Graham Hume in for his final over now, Alan. Ford is going to hammer this one through the offside. The fielder has not even moved, and that is going to be all over. The game is done. The Munster Reds have done it. They've won, not just comfortably, they've won at a canter by 6 wickets. We thought just for a moment Craig Young might have brought the Warriors back into the game, but this late cameo from what's going to be a huge contender for the player of the match from Matt Ford, 39 not out from 25 deliveries. He always scores over a run of ball. He's a power hitter. He's putting himself in the mix. He's sticking his hand up for Irish selection. A brilliant knock. The Reds, they are on fire. They've turned it around. They've got the win.
Absolutely brilliant knock that from Matt Ford. He just timed it beautifully, and as you say, invariably it goes over a run of ball. 39 from 25, but it was the shots he played, and that last one exemplified it brilliantly. Smashed backward a square, great position, giving himself a bit of room to smash it away, and Munster thoroughly deserving of their victory, and they will be absolutely thrilled. And it just gives us an indication of the value of this competition. 4 teams. Remember, Munster without Gareth Delaney, without Curtis Camphor, and without Tyrone Kane, sadly picking up an injury early on in the piece today. So we just wish him well. We hope it's not too bad for Tyrone Kane, but he will be absolutely thrilled as skipper.
Yeah, just going to see if we can see Tyrone Kane coming out of that Munster dugout. I wonder, is he still getting treatment on that ankle? Yeah, remarkable performance from the Reds. Huge credit to them. They've turned it around without 3 key all-rounders. Tyrone Kane, essentially, they played with 10 men today. He was taken off injured after just 1 over. Didn't get to bowl, didn't get to bat. And they had a sub-fielder in for him, but they've beaten the Warriors, who absolutely humped the Northern Knights yesterday. This tournament's been blown wide open. 4 points for the Reds, 4 points for the Knights now. The Warriors still top with 5 and Leinster with 5, but it sets it up beautifully for tomorrow, Alan. I better get away for the player of the match ceremony. I'll have to leave you. Let's go and find out who it is in a few minutes' time.
You can quite happily leave me, Andrew, and there we are. That was the start of the day. Didn't start terribly well. William Porterfield going for naught, and they really struggled from that point on. Never really got going at one stage, 40 for 5. William McClintock, a little cameo, but it was that partnership in the middle from McBrien and Kennedy that gave them something to play for. And Jared Wilson at the end, 28 from 12. That was really the riposte. And one thought at the halfway stage that maybe 146 might be enough. And this was the area that really Munster excelled. Ford, Cawley was tremendous up top, bowled a great line and length. Josh Manley 2, Fionhan 4 overs, 2 for 26, but it was a real team effort, and it was a fantastic performance from them in the field and with the ball. And again, in reply, here's the Munster scorecard. Got off to a real start. Carty 16 off 8. We won't know how, well, we do know now how valuable that was. We spoke about it on commentary. Murray Cummins played beautifully in the middle of the innings. Fionhan played a supporting role, but Matt Ford with 39 from 25 was absolutely majestic with his batting, supported by his brother Greg, and a thoroughly deserving victory for them with many balls to spare, and they just never really got going. Andy McBrien was his consistent self. Craig Young, apart from taking a bit of tap in his last over, but they really struggled throughout, and as I say, Munster were thoroughly deserving of their victory. So it's really set up the competition now, and tomorrow is just going to be another exciting day. And hats off to the Munster Reds to fight back the way they did, and they will be thoroughly delighted with that victory. And as I say, we've had a wonderful day here in Pembroke. Munster getting over the line with many balls to spare, winning at a canter by 6 wickets. Wonderful effort by them. And I'm now going to be in a position fairly shortly to bring you Andrew Leonard as the covers, the dart passes, the Many a dart passes here in Pembroke. Of course, the railway tracks there and the covers going on for the final day of this wonderful IP20. It's been a great day's cricket today. Two very strange results, people will have think, but two thoroughly deserving results. The Northern Knights getting through the Leinster Lightning in the early part of the day, and then the Munster Reds really in a dominating performance. Their coach getting all excited, passing behind us here, Ted Williamson, and I'm sure he's absolutely thrilled. He's shaking and weaving, but thoroughly deserving victory for them. And I'm now in a position to pass over to Andrew Leonard, who will bring you the player of the match.
Thank you, Alan. And what a game we had. The second upset of the day, the Munster Reds taking a brilliant victory over the Northwest Warriors, who were so impressive just a day ago. The player of the match decision between myself and Alan. A few contenders, 44 for Murray Cummins, 3 wickets for Josh Manley. A final round performance again from Andrew McBride in defeat. But there was only one option for us, really. The man to my left here, brilliant with the ball, 1 for 20 for him, and a sparkling innings to get them over the line. Matt Ford, a really good all-round performance, makes him today's player of the match. Matt, great day for the Munster Reds.
Yeah, I think first win, so great day for the Reds. Needed it badly, and especially with TK going down injured, we could have been in a spot to bother there, and guys put their hands up, had to find overs, and yeah, I think we set it up with the ball, and then had a good power play with the bat. Yeah, and that's pretty much decided it.
How big a wicket was that for you, right up at the top, dismissing William Porterfield?
Well, yeah, he scored that ton against us earlier in the week, so yeah, I think it was boosted the morale a bit for the lads and definitely settled my nerves, because I was haven't bowled in T20 cricket, so yeah, I was pretty happy with that one. And my club mate Mark Frost took the catch, so it's pretty chuffed.
Yeah, proud day for the Malahide men. Talk to us about the pressure. There was pressure on you when you came to the crease, though. The result was by no means certain, but you looked to counter-attack almost right from the off.
I think Murray was pretty well set at the start, so I was just looking to run my ones, and he was hitting the boundary, so he actually took the pressure off me, and then yeah, so could get my iron and then go from there.
You got to bat with your brother, your father watching on as the national coach. Do you have aspirations to go on and play for Ireland? Is that something you'd love to do in the future in your career?
Yeah, definitely. I think since I've been a young boy, I've wanted to play cricket for a living, and Ireland certainly presents a possibility, so that's something I'd definitely be up for.
A great comeback for the Reds today, bouncing back after what was a disappointing day yesterday. Can you take the momentum from today into tomorrow and get 2 wins from the weekend, do you think?
I think so. I mean, T20, anything can happen on the day. Good team performance today. If everyone puts up their hand again, there's no reason why we can't come away with 2.
That's our player of the match today, Matt Ford, a very happy man. Not the only Ford that's going to be happy, his brother Greg in the 11, and a very proud father watching on as well. And that's going to wrap up our coverage from today. It was a spectacular day of cricket with 2 huge upsets. The Munster Reds and the Northern Knights have turned things around, and they've turned it around in a big way. You wouldn't have fancied them today coming into the matches, but what that has meant is that after 2 days of cricket, every side has a win. And we're going to do it all again tomorrow. Same times, 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. The first game is going to be the Leinster Lightning against the Northwest Warriors. Both of those sides were defeated today. Who's going to get the win tomorrow? We'll find out from 11 a.m. with us. The afternoon game, 4 o'clock, will be the Northwest Warriors against Matt Ford's Munster Reds. So thank you from us for tuning in and watching. I'm Andrew Leonard. On behalf of Alan Lewis, everyone here at the HBV crew, we thank you for watching. We're going to see you again tomorrow from about 10:45 a.m. onwards.